pit bull defense. PSC's machine is driven by the elusive running of tailback Matt Friedman, and it's piled up over 370 yards a game. On the other hand, Bridgewater's defense gives up yardage in very small doses. The 129 yards a game they give up leads the New England Football Conference, and they are particularly stingy against the run, where they allow a minuscule 19 yards a game. That stat poses a big challenge to the Panthers today, as they must come up big on the ground, because they are led by freshman quarterback Andy Jackson, who steps in for the injured David Turner. Which side will prevail in the classic offense-defense argument is the question of the day in Bridgewater, Massachusetts, and we'll find out who the winner will be right here on Sports Channel. And welcome, everyone, to Swenson Field in Bridgewater, Massachusetts. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Long, and I'm joined by my partner, John Clayton, for the matchup between Plymouth State College and Bridgewater State. And, John, we've got two of the better teams in New England facing off today.
And really looks to be a defensive struggle, David. Bridgewater State has one of the best defenses in New England. They're only giving up 19 yards a game on the ground, and that presents a real challenge to the Plymouth offense.
And obviously, as we mentioned in the open, this is the classic battle between a team that scores a lot of points, rolls up a lot of yards. Plymouth with 370 yards a game this year against the defensive team. Which one generally wins out?
Well, defense normally wins, David. In this case, Bridgewater has another advantage. Plymouth State quarterback David Turner was injured last week. He won't be playing. Freshman Andrew Jackson will be starting in his place, so it puts a lot of pressure on the running backs from Plymouth.
And, of course, in last week's game against Maine Maritime, which the Panthers lost in a very close game, also a team that's beaten Bridgewater, the only common opponent between the two teams, Plymouth had some problems when Jackson went in the game. They couldn't get the offense moving.
And again, it puts more pressure on their best running back, Matt Friedman. He was held to 105 yards last week. If you can hold someone to 100 yards, really puts pressure on Matt again to come through.
And as you mentioned, 19 yards a game on the ground for Bridgewater. That's a trademark for this team.
It really is. Defensive end Eric Arthur is the best they have, an All-American preseason selection. He really keys a very strong, very aggressive Bridgewater defense.
Team that really spreads it out in the tackles area. It's really a lot of balance.
A lot of balance. The linebackers get very involved, and I think Plymouth really is going to have to get a lot of downfield blocking if they're going to have any chance to move the ball.
Okay, there you have it. The game between Plymouth State and Bridgewater State is just moments away right here on Sports Channel. Stay with us.
So, you believe it's not worth playing Tri-State Megabucks unless the jackpot is really up there. Well, let's just suppose that this week's jackpot is only $1.3 million. Now, if you were to win, you would receive a check for $65,000 every year for 20 years. Well, before taxes. $65,000. It's not enough to get you to play? Are you kidding? Well, then here, sign it over to me.
Tri-State Megabucks. There's no such thing as a small jackpot.
Last chance.
Television, communication, perception, information, discussion, consultation, comprehension, connection, dissemination, duplication, promotion, cultivation, realization, revelation, exclamation, hesitation, hesitation, television production by creative video. Yeah.
The average Grand Prix lasts but a few hours, unless it's a Grand Prix started with a genuine Delco Freedom Battery. Delco's rated tops for taking the pole position in starting power and excelling in reserve capacity. Helps keep your engine in the race for a longer, more reliable life.
AC Delco. It's like buying time. Now through December 4th, get started with up to $14 cash back on Delco Freedom batteries.
Ready to roll.
Oh, honey, it's time to do the Tufts commercial. I know Tufts is a great health plan with fitness centers and the diet workshop, but you see, we don't want to switch doctors.
Who says you have to switch doctors?
You don't?
Tufts has over 6,000 doctors. Yours could be one of them.
Okay, I'm ready.
He says we can probably join Tufts without switching doctors.
Great.
Then you can join a fitness center.
And you can join the diet workshop.
If your doctor is part of Tufts Health Plan, why aren't you?
And you can join the Foreign Legion.
And welcome back to Swenson Field. We are moments away from the opening kickoff. Kyle Albers from Plymouth State College in white will kick off to John Como running back deep for Bridgewater, and it is off on its way, and it's coming down on the right-hand side, and the return is coming right up the middle to about the 25. John Price took it over there on the right-hand side. Looked like he had some running room, John, to start off with, but got trapped around the 25 and had nowhere to go.
It closed up quickly for him, Dave. I think Plymouth may have thrown a little confusion into the return team. They did a little razzle-dazzle as they lined up for the kickoff. It still gives the Bears pretty decent field position at the 24-yard line.
Okay, Bridgewater will come out in the veer, as you see it right there. Quarterback, change in quarterback, by the way. Dan Hyman has replaced Jeff Putnam. Putnam is injured, so we have two pretty inexperienced quarterbacks in the ball game. And Nguyen gets it as he goes right off and hits a brick wall at about the 25-yard line for no gain.
One thing with the veer, Dave, Plymouth is really going to look to jam it up.
There's Plymouth's defense. They go with the standard 4-3-4. John Morley, John Barry, Jason Friedman. The front wall, Jeff Jarry, Toby Cloutier, Colby Compton. At the linebackers, Andy Levine, Derek Stone. The cornerbacks, P.J. Hampson and Ken Danowitz. The defensive secondary. And we have a 2nd and 10 situation. No gain off the play. Hyman over center. And they're going to go to the right on the pitch, and there's a fumble. Como can't grab it. He just falls on it about the 20-yard line. And it really looked like a distraction on Hyman, and he just threw a bad pitch.
And really the only thing Como could do on that play, David, is fall on the ball. He's pretty deep in his own territory. You don't want to commit a costly turnover like that this early in the game. A game that we figured would have a lot of defense anyway coming in.
Well, Plymouth, you know, we talked a lot about Bridgewater's defense at the top of the program, but also Plymouth is 2nd in the Freedom Football Conference. They just don't have the dominating defensive front that Bridgewater has. They've given up about 250 yards a game.
Very aggressive linebacking core from Plymouth. We'll be calling those names all day.
3rd and 15. Wright is in the left-hand side, looking to pass to Nguyen instead. He takes it up over the middle to about up over the original line of scrimmage to about the 27-yard line, and Bridgewater's going to punt it away.
Jeff Jarry with the big hit to stop Como. Take another look here. Point of the veer offense puts a lot of pressure on the linebackers. Another look here. Hyman with the handoff to Como in the backfield. Has a little opening right there, but you see Jarry come up with the aggressive pursuit, puts the shoulder down, knocks Como off his stride, halts that drive after about really 2 yards on 3 plays, David.
Okay, they've got a new punter in the game. Chris Khalil is the punter. Jeff Putnam was the punter. I thought we were going to have our first 2 quarterback punters since the dead ball era. And there's a ball end over end, hits it about the 50-yard line. It's going to be a Bridgewater bounce. It was touched, but looks like no whistle. Looked to me like it bounced off a defender at the 40-yard line. Got a quick hit and rolled up to about the 35-yard line.
Take another look here. Khalil was very deliberate in getting this kick away. Fortunate it wasn't blocked. Gets a lucky roll. Looked like Ken Danowitz almost got a piece of it.
Take a look at Plymouth's offense. They go with the tailback situation. The quarterback will be the freshman, as we mentioned, Andy Jackson, Bob Boston, Matt Friedman in the backfield. Wideouts are Jack Dalton and Paul Carlo. Big guys up front, and this is Andy Jackson, as John mentioned, formerly of the Whig Party. A lot of presidential jokes today. Plymouth comes out in the tailback, and they look at Friedman right off the bat, and there he goes inside. And he gets it over the 35-yard line. No, he doesn't. He gets it to about, took it at about the 30. And now and it looks like he's going to get about a 3-yard loss.
Have to give credit for that tackle to the entire Bridgewater student body. Everybody on that list.
That's right. Eric Arthur, the All-American. Joe Licata, Dan Grimes up front. David Quayle are the front 4. Inside linebacker, Jim Costa, Steve McCarthy, Lou Garcia, and the defensive back, Scott Bernier, Don Levy, and Casey Linder. And Linder is the leading interceptor with 4 interceptions. And once again, a very strong defensive unit for the Bears on what is a beautiful day for football. First cliche out of the way. And here we have a penalty flag.
First flag out of the way.
First flag out of the way. That is going to be a delay of game. Plymouth going to go back 5 more yards, and they are moving the wrong way. Now, their problem, John, as we said, David Turner, the starting quarterback, is out. There goes about 250 yards in total offense per game. Well, probably not that much, but around 200 yards in total offense. He really started to crank it up the last couple of games. And they've got the freshmen in here, and they're not certain if they're going to be able to move the ball through the air, so that puts pressure on the offense.
Turner hurt his knee last week against Maine Maritime, so it was a double loss for the Panthers. Not only did they lose the game, they also lost their starting QB.
Taylor Tendre is in the game for Dalton. He's split to the right. Carlo is wide left. Friedman deep, and there goes the fake to Friedman. Jackson looking to pass in the flat, and he has got Bost on the sidelines, and he is going to go out of bounds, fights his way to about the 47-yard line. And that'll take it up relatively close to a first down, probably about 3 short. And it was John Pavia, by the way, the tight end, not Bob Bost out of the backfield.
Take another look here. Andy Jackson showing pretty good patience as he drops into the pocket, looking into the flat, gets some zip on it and gets the ball out to Bost, who really knows what to do with the ball once he gets it. Bost has caught 6 passes already this season, up to 7 now.
Okay, we got a 3rd and 3 situation, 3rd and 3 situation. And they're looking to Friedman. Friedman cuts it over, and he gets just shy of the 50-yard line. Does not get the first down.
And decision time here for Don Brown. He's at about midfield, probably a yard short. Take another look here.
This hole really closed in a hurry.
Friedman takes the ball from Jackson and really has a little bit of an opening, and then it closes quickly, as you said, David. He vaulted onto the back of his blockers, but it wasn't enough. Looks like the Panthers will kick it away.
Big Dan Grimes came over from the left end position, to close that down in a hurry. Caught Friedman from behind, and Plymouth is going to bring it out in what looks like a very short punting situation. Now Jackson in the game. P.J. Hansen is the up man, and they're going to punt it away on 4th and 1, and it's off, looking to Price at about the 20-yard line, and he's got some room on the right-hand side of age 1 player, and he's over the 30, and he's got some room on the sidelines, and he takes it out of bounds all the way up across the 30-yard line. Some nifty running on the part of Price.
Return set up to the right side of the field, and he tried to get across. Plymouth with good pursuit, able to string it out.
John Barry made the tackle on the sideline.
Have to say, by that first set of sequences, Dave, we're seeing about what we expected. A lot of defense, not much ability to move the ball. A couple of young quarterbacks matched up against 2 very good defenses.
And the thing about Bridgewater, they're kind of a typical Bear team. They have a lot of balance in the backfield. Not one player really shines out statistically, and a lot of guys with over 200 yards. 4 people. Okay, Hyman over center, and he looks to the up man. He keeps it, and he is bottled up. They are short of the line of scrimmage, just short of the line of scrimmage.
Looks like Colby Compton with the tackle for Plymouth. Good pursuit. Compton is the leading tackler for the Panthers. He's recorded 50 already this season, but again, the linebacking core from Plymouth does the lion's share of the work on the defense.
Colby Compton, a kind of a surprise this year for the Panthers. Wasn't he a dynasty character, Colby Compton? Okay, we've got a 2nd and 10. Nice job by Compton. In motion. And they're going to the pitch to Como, who's got some room on the right-hand side. Plymouth stretches it out. Contact. Cloutier stops the play. Check that. Jeff Jarry stops the play at about the just short of the 35-yard line. Once again, doesn't look like they're going to pick up much. Picked up maybe a half yard. We've got a 3rd and 9 situation for the Bears.
Good pursuit by Jarry, and you have to be on your toes when you see Como breaking wide. He's a 200-meter qualifier in the NCAA track circle, so he's a man who's got great outside speed.
John DeSisto comes into the game. He replaces David Toto, who must be from Kansas, someplace in Kansas. Let's go hometown on David. Anyway, DeSisto comes to the left, wide out to the right. DeSisto now in motion, double back set. Barry almost on the jump, got the roll to the left, looking in the flat to Como, and he was covered. 2 guys there. Jarry is one of the guys. Derek Stone, the safety, is also there. Dan Tippett put pressure on the play.
Take another look here. We've got Hyman rolling out against his throwing side again. Has the receiver in the flat. He gets plenty of time. The roll allows him to do that. Freezes the linebackers a little bit, but as he puts the ball out here, there's good coverage. Again, Stone coming up quick. Ball hits off the receiver's forearm and falls harmlessly out of bounds. 4th and about 8. They will kick it away.
A nice block. P.J. Hampson should be the deep man. As Khalil looks to, there's a bad snap, but Khalil gets it off. Did a nice job. A little like Ozzie Smith there in that catch, and Hansen just runs away from it. And once again, and the Bears do a clever little job, little kick with the ball. I almost missed it last time. They did move it back. This time at about the 35, somebody gave it a nudge with the foot to try and pick up an extra 5. Caught once again. You got to kind of be sly with those things. Do it at the right time, John. Not every time, because the referees anticipated.
Well, Hansen looked like a right fielder in Fenway Park on that one as well, David. He was looking right up into the sun, lost sight of the ball, and did the wise thing. Quickly moved out of the way and let it roll dead.
Okay, Plymouth comes out. Wide outs left and right. Carlo right, Dalton in the left. 1st and 10, 8:59 to go in the first quarter. Friedman with the ball over the 30, and he takes it up to about the 34-yard line, falls just short of the 35 for about a 2-yard gain, and that's his long gain of the game so far.
Yeah, Eric Arthur was the one who knocked him off his feet. Arthur is the preseason first team All-America, the first one they've ever had at Bridgewater. Leads the team with 41 tackles, and he also has 6 sacks.
Also in the big game last year, this has become a very good, strong rivalry between the 2 schools, although they play in different conferences. Arthur was having a monster game up in Plymouth last year and then got hurt in the second period, or second half, that is. And he is standing up on the left-hand side. And Jackson is grabbed right away and goes down. Jim Licata makes the play, just penetrated very quickly. That's his 6th sack on the season.
Joe Licata, real good foot speed in there. He's going to be a problem for the Plymouth guards. Anytime they pull out and try and lead something around the corner, Licata's going to fill that void. 31 tackles total on the season so far. Pardon me, and 3.5 sacks. They take a look at Joe, the senior from Andover, Mass. One of the real stalwarts on the defensive line for the Bears.
And again, we emphasize, we mentioned it a couple of times, 19 yards on the ground, they're giving up a game. Okay, Jackson over center. The lone setback is Friedman. They're faking the draw, and here comes Arthur, and they get it off to Friedman on the screen, and it's diagnosed very well. Number 31, Jeff Hodgkin on the play, really diagnosed this, and Arthur really leveled the boom on Jackson.
And a nice play by Jackson, inexperienced quarterback. Take another look here. Oftentimes, when they try and draw the defense like this, they tend to get a little bit panicky, but the freshman is able to hold his ground and dump it off to Friedman. Nice open field tackle by Hodgkin to bring him down.
And that wasn't Chester Allen Arthur who lowered the boom on Jackson. That was Eric Arthur. And now Plymouth, it is a 4th down and 15 situation. Jackson gets off the punt, and it is going to go out of bounds at about, depends where they mark it, probably the 39-yard line. So slowly but surely, Bridgewater is winning the field position games. They keep creeping up on change of possessions. Plymouth keeps moving back, John.
They're gaining about 4 yards per possession. At this rate, they may make it into the end zone by the 4th quarter late in the game. Good defensive struggle again, as we had hoped coming into the game.
7:04 to go in the first quarter. No score here at Swenson Field in Bridgewater, Massachusetts. 2nd ranked in the New England region. Plymouth State College against 3rd ranked in the New England region, Bridgewater State, in an interconference matchup. And Hyman in the backfield with Como is just buried underneath. And a great penetration by the defensive line. Dan Kappen, who has starting off with a pretty good ball game. A couple of pressures and a big tackle right there. No gain.
And a lot of pressure on Hyman coming in, Dave. The Veer offense is really intricate in terms of pitches and handoffs. Has to be a lot of interaction between the quarterback and his backs, and he looks a little shaky. Eric Arthur cooling off on the sidelines. The All-American with a very fiery pregame speech to his teammates, reminding them about the game up in Plymouth a year ago.
Nguyen and Como in the backfield. Hyman over center. Wideouts right. He's looking to pass. He is looking deep. He's got some time, and then he just drops it off behind to Nguyen, who is buried at the 25-yard line.
Jason Friedman with the heavy pursuit. It looked like Hyman had a couple of options as he rolled to his right. I'd like to grab another look at this one. The offensive line doing a nice job, giving him time as he rolled. But as he rolls to the side, his receivers are covered. Good work by the Plymouth secondary. And here comes number 44, Jason Friedman. Friedman with the heavy pressure. Ball tipped away and falls harmlessly to the ground.
And there's Derek Stone and Toby Cloutier in on the play. All right, 3rd down and 12. And Bridgewater not really moving the ball very well at this point. And they're going to look to pass. They're going to look in the flat. And over the middle to right, check that, and he is going to be, he breaks free and takes it up over the 40-yard line and picks up the 1st down with some clever running. Paul Wright just spun out of the bad tackle.
I think, take another look at this one. I think Paul Wright may have saved his bacon with Coach Peter Mazzaferro. He had the 1st down yardage on the initial catch and gave it up in terms of trying to break downfield. Another look here with a little sidearm sling, a Flutie-like pass from Hyman, hits right in the middle of the defense, and here he starts giving up yardage. He manages to get away from number 97, Colby Compton, but he again recovers and gets it upfield.
And actually, there is the punt. We were right on the play. The ball was hit, penalty flag. I think there was an offensive player blocked Bridgewater into the ball, and the penalty flag went down. Obviously, we were right on the play there, John, yes. As they made it over the first line, the first marker on the 10-yard marker, and they came up short.
Take another look here. Tony Andrews winds up in the thick of things as Hansen tries to field that punt.
It's going to be interference on the defense.
We isolate on Hansen here. And there's Tony Andrews taking it off the back of the pads.
Tony Andrews shoved the offensive blocker back into Hansen, and that is going to be a 5-yard walk-up. Plymouth now moving a little bit ahead in the field position battle. They're going to start at the 45-yard line, right in the middle of the field. So 5 minutes to go here in the first period. No score. Plymouth State, Bridgewater State.
Plymouth offense still trying to find its rhythm. The first period has been their strongest period, David. They've scored 41 points in 4 quarters so far this year.
And they really haven't been able to establish much, as you said, John. There goes the Friedman right up the middle over midfield. And he takes it up maybe to the 47-yard line. Probably about a 7-yard gain, and that's the first time Plymouth's offensive line really moved him out of there.
Another look here. Offensive right guard Mark Sawicki opens a gaping hole that Friedman hits. Friedman doesn't need a lot of room. When he gets to the line quickly, he's through. But again, Sawicki fires right through, gets him into the secondary, and he picks up about 8.
Second down, 3 to go. I formation. Boss the up man for the Panthers. And they're going right back to Friedman, who takes it, just grabbed that underneath. Nice play on the defensive end by Steve McCarthy, the inside linebacker, just reached up and grabbed the leg as Friedman went by. Check that, I think that was Dan Grimes.
Trying that same hole again, Mark Sawicki and John Pagorni having some success on the right side of the Plymouth line. Friedman not as successful that time, probably no gain on the play.
Joe Licata just comes in the ball game. Licata, as Bridgewater stays in its formation, the 4-3-3. Actually, they've got 8 men in the line of scrimmage right now, looking to pass in what is a 3rd and 3rd situation. Plymouth has gone to the screen here. There's some room for Friedman, and once again, he is going to come up short. Looked like he had it, and the linebackers just stepped in there and stood up the offensive lineman and took Friedman's room away.
Nice recovery by that defensive linebacking core from Bridgewater State. I think John Koska got in there and got a piece of the action. Pardon me, Jim Koska, able to push it back. And again, punting situation for Plymouth. They're across midfield with a 4th and about 1.5. Don Brown, decision time yet again.
We have yet to see a first down here in the ball game, and we have just a little over 3 minutes to go in the first period. Teams feeling each other out. Usually in a situation like this, it's the bigger team that wears someone down, and this is a 4th quarter kind of a game, or at least it started off that way. And there's a fake, and they're going deep to Latendra, and it is slapped away by Jim Koska, who covered Latendra coming out of the backfield. He was the up man in the blocking and just took off.
Great coverage by Bridgewater, good recovery. You can see the defensive backs who were back to receive the punt were a little hesitant. Plymouth comes out in that formation, drops back into the punt. Koska wisely doesn't fall for the fake, is able to get back in the flat and knock that pass down.
And Koska is also, I mentioned Casey Linder has 4 interceptions. Koska has 4 interceptions as well. It's kind of rare for a linebacker these days. Usually they come out and others go in and they put in all the defensive backs. So Koska shows that he can get back in coverage. Wideouts to the right and left. They're going to go right to the air. And the fumble, that's a catch. No, it's not. Looks like a catch and a miss to me. But they didn't ask me.
John DeSisto here takes the pass in the flat. Looks like he had it into the gut. Hyman put some zip on this one. None of the sidearm stuff on this. Right over the top. Hits DeSisto right in the numbers, and he starts to look upfield. Drops the ball before he can go with it.
And that's why they didn't ask me.
Officials rule no catch.
Good call by the officials. And now they go for the option, and Captain just stands up Hyman. He had nowhere to go. Colby Compton also went on the play, trailing from behind. And Plymouth doing a good job against Devere.
Colby Compton and Toby Cloutier both padding their tackle stats. Again, not much option right there for Hyman. He did the wise thing. Didn't go for the pitch or the handoff after he'd been hit. Tucks it under his arm and takes the hit. Probably no gain, 3rd and 10.
Dan Hyman kind of finding himself in an unexpected position. Started the season as a 3rd quarterback, and now he's in the 1st spot. Sophomore at a nearby Brockton. Right is split to the left, the near side of the screen. Here comes DeSisto in motion coming toward us. Hyman going back to pass, and he doesn't have a lot of room. Now he runs out of the pocket and dumps it off to Khalil, who catches it and takes it over the 50-yard line to about the 48-yard line. Toby Cloutier once again in on the play, and he's going to come up short on the 1st down.
Another look here. We talked about Hyman being thrown into it, David. I think he probably feels like he was thrown into it here. He's rolling to his left, looking to find something over there, and has to reverse direction. As he reverses field, the Plymouth pursuit is there, but he has the patience, I guess, and the field vision to find Khalil. Knocked harmlessly to the field, and looks like the Bears will be kicking it away.
And here comes a familiar sight. Khalil in to kick, Hansen back to receive, and it is a nice kick, spiraling kick. Hansen calls for a fair catch, as there were only 5 red shirts around him. Must be a science major or something. Certainly showed a lot of common sense there.
No, not lack of valor on Hansen's part. I think it was just good common sense, as you said, Dave. Now it's Plymouth's turn. They're going to be backed up in their own end. We talked about that struggle for field position. I guess we have to assign this one to the Bears. They've got Plymouth State pinned back now on about the 17-yard line. And again, they're looking into the sun, so as As Jackson looks downfield on any pass plays, he's got the sun to contend with as well as the Bear defense.
Bridgewater on a 4-game winning streak, lost their first 2. They stand at 4-2. And the interesting thing about them, John, is they really don't have an overwhelming statistical advantage. But here comes Jackson deep looking for Carlo. A lot of contact, no play, and no completion, and it just falls harmlessly to the ground. But to me, it looked like a lot of battling there between Bernier and Carlo.
Scott Bernier bumping with him, trying to keep his place. He has 13 breakups, and we see another one here. As you said, they have a lot of bumping. Plenty of time for Jackson, and he gets it up in the air. Probably just came up a little bit short, forced the receiver to come back, and Bernier, as is his wont, is able to knock the ball down. Nice view from the sideline camera.
Plymouth finds themselves 2nd and 10. That was a departure from what they've been doing, passing deep on 1st down. Now they got to come up with some kind of a play. Get it up right away. A lot of guys in on the action there. Take your pick. Who's at the bottom of that pile?
Joe Licata again, among others, in the thick of it. Not much room right there in the middle of that Bridgewater line.
Jim Kotska also there.
Down to 3rd and about 9 for the Panthers on the spot. They give them about a yard. And that stingy Bear defense is living up to its reputation.
And we are approaching 1 minute left in the first period. Penman have a tough call here. They really can't afford to make mistakes. You got to think the Bears are going to be coming on this one. Eric Arthur standing up there on the left-hand side, and they've got to let the guys go. So Penman and the Panthers, and there's a timeout in the field by Jackson as he was confused. While the Panthers take a timeout, we will too.
Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler, long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference.
Those lines are from the poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, in which he talks about his choice to take another, less traveled road. Frost wrote and taught at Plymouth State College in Plymouth, New Hampshire, for one stretch of his long and illustrious life. Plymouth State College knows about those moments of choice, when you see the roads to your future diverging before you.
I remember hearing about Plymouth my junior year in high school. I didn't want to go to a big university, but I was afraid of missing out on things. Coming to Plymouth was the best decision I could have made.
There are a lot of different roads you can take, and many ways to take them. It's up to you to find the one that's best for you. At Plymouth, the road can be fast and exciting.
Big play coming up for the Panthers at Plymouth State College. 3rd and 9, deep in their own territory. What are they going to come away with? Jackson, they had to take a timeout to decide. Jackson's going back to pass, and he's got some time. Now he's in trouble. He does a nice job of getting out of the pocket, but he can't get past the 15-yard line. Eric Arthur pursued on the play, and Jeff Hodgkin, the inside linebacker, came in on the blitz, and as Jackson broke away from the pocket, he grabbed him around the ankles and wrapped him up.
You have to give a lot of credit to the Bears secondary as well, David. You could see that he had no one downfield. He tried to scramble for time. Hodgkin was having none of it, brought him down 4th and long.
Okay, Jackson, I hope his leg isn't getting tired. He's been on the field almost as a punter, almost has been as much on a quarterback as well. He is the freshman punting from the goal line, now from the 5-yard line, gets one off. Price underneath it, but now check that. We have got at the 50, down about the 40, he breaks free. Nice job of getting out of traffic. Jeff Caputo on the play. Backup kind of threw us there, the backup punt returner.
Looked like he wanted to go to his left, Dave, and I guess when he changed up his mind, it kind of messed up the Plymouth coverage. He was able to score through the middle there and really give the Bears their best offensive field position of the day. Inside the Plymouth 40.
And I think this is, again, how the Bears really do things. They just slowly but surely win the position, field position. Khalil has the ball. He goes over the 37 and then comes back with a huge crowd. Okay, that's the end. We're about to go to the end of the first quarter. So with the score 0-0, we'll take a break.
Bridgewater State College, founded in 1840, is home to approximately 5,300 full-time undergraduate and 1,500 graduate students who are taking advantage of the vast liberal arts program BSC offers. Situated on a 170-acre campus in southeastern Massachusetts, Bridgewater State offers its students a quality education made possible by an excellent faculty, advanced facilities, outstanding resources for learning, and a sincere concern for the well-being of each individual student. Bridgewater also offers a variety of student life activities rich in depth and scope. There are more than 70 student clubs and organizations on campus, in addition to an extensive intercollegiate athletic and intramural program. Bridgewater State College, from its beginning, has been dedicated to a tradition of excellence and public service, with its goal being to provide access to higher education to all qualified students. And that dedication will continue into the 90s, as it has for the past 150 years. Bridgewater State College, an institution of higher learning for one and all.
We are back at the start of the second period. Bridgewater and Plymouth are tied at 0-0. Bridgewater right now is threatening, or almost threatening. First time they've penetrated, it's the deepest they've been into Panther territory this game on the 35-yard line. 2nd and 7.
Pressure time for the Plymouth defense. We talked about their linebacking core, David. They have to be ready here.
And they're kind of swinging around the right side. Calcano on the play. Not a lot of room. Plymouth defense pretty much holding its own with the high-powered or the highly vaunted Bridgewater State Bear defense.
Jeff Jerry with the tackle for the Panthers. We did talk about the versatility the Bears have. They have 4 rushers, 4 running backs with over 200 yards, David, and it just makes real balance. It makes it difficult for the defense. There's no one to key on. Everybody is equal in terms of ability and opportunity.
And that's also something that shows up in the fourth quarter, because they don't have the stamina problems, or they can spread it out. Defensively, guys have a chance to spread it out. They're not as tired in the fourth quarter generally. Khalil in the ball game with Calcano. There's the pitch to Khalil. He's got nowhere to go, and he's drawn a crowd. Toby Cloutier was there. Jason Friedman was there. The rest of the band, I think, was there as well, because he drew a big crowd.
Good work by Jason Friedman. He popped right through the line there, and his penetration caught Khalil just when he was about to turn it upfield. Friedman turns it in, and then he's happy to take the assist from the rest of his teammates who came in for the hit.
And it looks like they're going to punt it there and try and really pin the Panthers back inside the 10-yard line. They have got the edge. They have one of the best kickers in New England, and Matt Carroll, 8 for 10. They elect to punt it, and there goes Khalil. He fumbles it, picks it up again, goes to the coffin corner, and doesn't quite get the bounce that they want. It's going to come up around the, about the 18-yard line or so, and Chris Langlois makes the downs it for the Bears, and Plymouth is going to come back out in a better position they were last time.
Nice play by Khalil. He's had a couple of low snaps to handle, David. That's why coaches like to have someone back there as a kicker who knows what to do with the ball. In the case of Plymouth, it's quarterback Andy Jackson, and for the Bears, it's Chris Khalil.
And that time, that one really was Khalil. He had it in his hand. It wasn't a bad snap. He just dropped it. Okay, Panthers stay with what's got him here so far. Friedman with the ball. He takes it up over the 20, fights around. He got a little bit of running room, really created himself.
Looks like Casey Lindner had him wrapped up there before he turned around the corner. Friedman was able to turn it all the way around. Lindner was the backup quarterback his first 2 seasons with the Bears, now playing in a defensive secondary role, coming up with the tackle.
And Jason Vaga was also in on the play. First time we've seen him today.
First time we've really seen a flash of Matt Friedman's ability, too. You get him around the corner, he can really use that elusiveness to try and break free.
Picked up 7 on the play, 2nd and 3. Wideouts are to the right, or at least one wideout is to the right. That Dalton, and Friedman takes it straight ahead, and it's too close to a first down. What could be the first down of this ball game.
They don't have cannons to fire in celebration here on the sideline, but it wouldn't be a bad idea. Linebacker Steve McCarthy came up with the tackle. McCarthy is also among the leaders here with 37 coming into the game for the Bears. Defensively, David, they are as versatile and balanced as they are on offense.
And that is what coaches want, or at least most coaches want something. Of course, you can make the argument on the offensive end that when you spread it out among a lot of different guys, sometimes you don't develop that big play player. Like in Plymouth's case, they've got Matt Friedman, who's had one 200-yard game, and his worst, quote-unquote, we'll put quotes around that one, was 105 yards a week ago. He's averaging nearly 6 yards a carry.
Well, we have our first down of the afternoon. I don't see any signs of celebration on the Plymouth sideline, but I'm sure Don Brown is happy to see them moving the ball, especially considering the deep, poor field position they had when they got the ball.
Ever since Bill Parcells blistered Vincent Brisby, everybody's been afraid to celebrate a first down. Okay, 1st and 10 from about the 28-yard line. Plymouth working in the deep I. Carlo to the right, the lone wide receiver. And it goes to Friedman, and he had a little bit of room, and he breaks it up almost to the 35-yard line. Takes it up just shy of the 35. Don Levy in on the tackle, and that is the first time we've heard from Don Levy. This is the first time someone's been in the secondary.
And again, we have to give credit to the guys up front for Plymouth, Mark Sawicki and John Cordoni there on the right side. Jackson's finding some success there, and he keeps having Friedman go in behind those two.
Once again, Panthers going to stay right with it. Friedman with the ball, and he stretches ahead to the 35-yard line, and Joe Licata once again wrapped him up around the 37-yard line. Jeff Hodgkin also in on the play, and they just dragged him down at the 35, so we have got a 3rd down and 3
That's
situation.
a nice defensive stop by Bridgewater State. Looks like if he'd got into that line, Dave, he might have been able to break through, get some room in the secondary, but Hodgkin, among others, able to pull him down.
Okay, Dalton comes down to the left, nearest to us. Carlo is to the right. Now Bost in the H-back spot. He moves over to the right with John Pavia. And we have a flag on the play, just the 2nd flag so far. And the problem was the ball wasn't snapped. And Jackson looks like he pulled out early, John.
Everybody moved, but Pat Flaherty, the center for the Panthers, was the only one over the ball. If he doesn't go, no one's supposed to.
Okay, now this changes the strategy once again. It's going to be a 3rd and 8. Panthers are going to go to the air on that player. At least they're going to try and roll out in that situation. And this puts a little bit more pressure on the freshman, who really had not had much playing time prior to last week when he went in the relief role of the injured David Turner. Split backfield this time for the Panthers. Long snap count. Looking to pass in the flat, and he has in and out of the hands of Carlo. Couldn't hold on after the hit. Scott Bernier was right there on the coverage, and in and out as it went a little bit behind.
A well-timed hit by Bernier, who's rather short for a defensive secondary man, David. He's only 5'6", 150 pounds, but I guess when you're that small, you have to time your hits properly, as he did in that case.
I like those kind of guys. Of course, if you say a guy is short for a defensive back, that means he's short for a football player, because usually they're the shortest guys in the field, other than the kickers.
Good timing by Bernier as the Panthers kick it away.
Jackson kicking the ball to, looks like Price is going to catch it about the 40-yard line. He runs away from it as it goes over the 40, rolls kind of harmlessly down to the 37. Bob Bost there out of his blocking spot to let it run out of bounds. Okay, with the score, 0-0 between Bridgewater and Plymouth State. Let's take a break.
Some people are naturally faster than others. In fact, everything they do is fast. Fast, 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 fast. Now, not everyone appreciates that. But if you're looking to get a new GM car or truck financed, fast is exactly what you want.
Mac will take care of your financing.
And the folks who arrange GMAC financing and leasing are faster than just about anyone else. GMAC, the expressway home.
You forgot your sunglasses.
This is the pace. This is the race. And you need a crew in the pit. The guys at Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Best under pressure. They check. And they double check. Because they know the race is won by the crew in the pit.
Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. We're with you down the road.
Bears run off a quick, I've heard of quick huddles or quick plays before. Bears run off a play to not much success, pick up about 2 yards on the play, set up a 2nd and 8 with just over 10 minutes to go here in the second quarter between Plymouth State College and Bridgewater State College in a scoreless battle. Bridgewater really looking to establish themselves, have not been able to do that thus far, yet to get a first down. Paul Wright is wide to the right. And Hyman is rolling, looking for Wright, and there's Wright in the middle, picked off by Hansen. He's over the 50, and he's got some room. 2 flags are down as he goes over the 40-yard line and out of bounds. But as I said, there are flags down, and from this angle, it looked like a clip. Hansen just stepped into, Wright was open there for a minute, John, and Hansen just stepped in there right in front, read the quarterback's eyes, and just walked in and picked it off.
That's Hansen's second interception of the season, Dave. And again, it was really just a case of playing center field. He lay back there, kind of hiding out, is able to pick off the pass, but there must have been an interference play somewhere else on the field. Hansen was all alone. Take another look. Hyman rolling to his right, again, his strong side, looking downfield. He's got plenty of room and plenty to look at. Gets it down the field. Hansen steps right in and takes it. Really didn't see the interference on that play. Perhaps it happened somewhere else on the pass route, maybe earlier on the play. But Hansen's interception is nullified by the call, and the Bears are going to benefit mightily from that call.
It's from the point of the interception. It's a 15-yard penalty from the point of the interception, so it had to happen on the play to right. And that was a good look at P.J. Hampson out of Concord, New Hampshire. Check it. Must have been up. You got me. Somebody sent out for a rule book. I don't get that. Plymouth retains possession of the ball, and they're going to Friedman immediately to the left side of the field, and he is wrapped up, big pile up, gets it up over the 30 to about the 32-yard line, and we are waiting for the official announcement on what the call was.
Hodgin on the tackle on that play. I think if we take another look at it sometime during this broadcast, Dave, we'll see that there may have been a clip behind the play after Hansen was able to pick the ball off. One of the Panther teammates who suddenly had become a blocker caught a Bridgewater State guy from behind, so the interception stands and the 15 yards are marked off after the play.
That one I saw, but the official
indicated pass
that it was pass interference on the defense. We've got a 2nd and 10 situation. Jackson looking over in the flat to Pavia, who makes a nice catch, takes it over the 35 to about the 37-yard line. The tight end just flared out into the flat, and he made the catch.
Jim Koska on the tackle, but take another look here. Pavia is what you'd like to call a big target for Jackson. 6'3", 200-pound tight end is swinging out to the outside, shows good hands, pulls it down, and at that point it's up to Koska to try and bring him down before he can get to the sideline.
Koska, he has a lot of range, John. He is all over the field. Okay, lone setback is Boss. They throw it in the flat to Friedman. Nice spin out of the arms. What a spin out of Lou Garcia, who was right there, and he turned on a dime and picked up the first down.
Hodgson made the tackle downfield, but I'm not sure if Friedman was making this play, David, as an elusive move, or if he was trying to get the ball. We talk about Jackson rolling to that side and throwing the ball behind Friedman. He has to make the spin move, as you see there, to get the ball. I think he just allowed that momentum to let him carry through the fake. Nice move by Matt Friedman.
The first time we've seen Friedman out in the slot. Here they go right back to him, and he has got it on what was, let's say, a slow developing draw that really didn't get anywhere.
All-American Eric Arthur in on the tackle for the Bears. We mentioned that last year, Dave, up in Plymouth, a 14-6 win for the Bears. Arthur was injured, really put the damper on what was shaping up to be a fine season for him. In spite of missing 4 games, the powers that be saw enough in Eric Arthur to make him a preseason All-American.
I can tell you, we saw enough of him in the first half of that game last year. Okay, put it to the 2nd and 9. They go to Friedman. He runs out over right tackle. Has got some running room. Takes it up to about midfield. Arthur, one of the players in there on the play.
As a defensive end, pardon me, Dave, as a defensive end, one of Arthur's duties is to step up and contain any outside play. He's been doing that, but in the process, he's been opening things up, and we mentioned that the left side of that line, Pagorni and Sawicki, are having real good luck. Arthur recovered nicely on that play, however, and helped to close that hole down before anything big developed.
Scott Bernier also closed from his left cornerback spot on the play. Tendre and Carlo are coming left. 2 guys in the slot. Friedman is signaling the lone setback. Good look at Andy Jackson, the freshman. He's looking to pass. He's got some room, and he just throws it to Letendre, who's got it. And he is immediately taken down by Bernier. But it was a nice job by Jackson to kind of avoid the rush, and Bernier, Letendre, took it to the 37-yard line, and this is Plymouth's biggest penetration of the ball game into Bear territory.
Excuse me, Dave. Letendre is the leading receiver for the Panthers. He had 12 catches coming into the game for 273 yards. Showed real good hands on that play, able to get up in the air, pull it down, and pick up some yardage after the fact.
Here's a picture of R.J. Letendre. 1st and 10 for the Panthers. We're going to look at the Panthers next week when they take on Coast Guard. And there goes Friedman to about the 35-yard line. I think the old per game, per carry average is going to go down today. Took it to the 35, and that's a pickup of 2.
Jim Licata on the tackle for Bridgewater State. A little bit of misdirection there, David. It was almost like a pitch play coming back through the middle. Friedman tried to get the Bears in over pursuit, but he was able to, they were able to recover and pull him down before he picked up too much.
And they like to do that with Friedman. That really is his greatest strength, his cutback against the grain. He's got very good vision when he's running with the ball, and he can see the holes maybe that split second before the others can. Then they go to Friedman again, but it is closed down right away. Jeff Hodgson right there in the play. He came flying across from the right linebacker, just jumped into the hole.
Just when you think Plymouth is going to get a little bit of momentum going, we get a real nice comeback. Take another look here. Looking again to Friedman, trying to get people going in the wrong direction so he can use that cutback speed. Hodgson shoots right through there, wraps him up and pulls him down for no gain, looking at about a 3rd and 9 for Plymouth State.
And that's a 2-yard loss. Panthers continue to have difficulty making consistently to gain yardage. David Bowman in the game for his first play, highly touted David Bowman. And he is the deep man in the eye, number 27, and they're going to roll to the right. Bowman holds off, and there is Arthur coming from the left-hand side.
A little bit of celebration for Eric Arthur as he picks up his 7th sack of the season. Team-high 41 tackles coming in. This has to be a special one. Really is untouched as he comes around the back. Fortunately, Jackson able to hang on to the ball for Plymouth State. Eric Arthur celebrates in style his first sack of the day.
He just out-quick John Pagorni. He couldn't get there, and just Arthur ran right around the corner. And here we go, big play for the Bears. That pushes the Panthers back to about the 42-yard line. They're going to punt it from their end. And Jackson gets one off the side of his foot. Probably going to get a good bounce. Goes inside the 20 and goes out on the 19-yard line. So with a game remains scoreless between Plymouth State and Bridgewater State, let's take a break.
So, you believe it's not worth playing Tri-State Megabucks unless the jackpot is really up there. Well, let's just suppose that this week's jackpot is only $1.3 million. Now, if you were to win, you would receive a check for $65,000 every year for 20 years, well, before taxes. $65,000. It's not enough to get you to play? Are you kidding? Well, then here, sign it over to me.
Tri-State Megabucks. There's no such thing as a small jackpot.
Last chance.
When it comes to drugs, kids say the darndest things.
If you're going to talk to your kids about drugs, you got to keep it interesting. I've had my mom come to me and like, you can't do drugs, and just listening enough to make it look like I'm listening. Then she goes, well, I tried drugs when I was a kid. I'm like, you did? Wow, cool. And then I started listening to her, and because it was interesting.
Don't wait until you think there's a problem. Talk with your kids before the problem starts, even if you have to resort to a slightly unconventional approach. As parents, it's up to us.
4 minutes, just over 4 minutes to go here in a scoreless ball game. The second period, Plymouth State, Bridgewater State. While we were away, Bridgewater ran off a play. No change in the yardage, though. Well, I checked that. It's 2nd and 7 yards. Bridgewater in the veer. And looking to pass. They've got Wright going deep. And there, Hansen outruns Friedman, who dumps it down at the feet. Colby Compton somehow got in the middle of that coverage. The defensive end wound up down there, and Derek Stone on the deep coverage. And there you have it, the only common opponent between the two teams, Maine Maritime, who last week beat Plymouth in a squeaker, and they also beat Bridgewater in the opening game of the season in a squeaker. And right now they are the #1 ranked team in the North Division for the NCAA. Plymouth 2 and Bridgewater State 3.
Hard to argue with those rankings, and there certainly isn't much these two teams have to say about it. They've both been beaten by that leader.
Two wide receivers, DeSisto and Wright, and there's an inside pitch. I love that play. Como's got it, but he doesn't have a whole heck of a lot to go as he comes up about 4 yards short. Jeff Jarry in on the tackle, and very deceptive play. When that works, the Broncos used to do that real well.
Deceptive and risky. With an athlete like Elway, you can do it. Here, Hyman gets the ball into Como, has a little bit of room. Looks like he might be able to break it, but again, good pursuit by the Plymouth defense. They stay with it, able to pull him down. Jeff Jarry on the tackle.
Khalil in the kick. Of course, that's a forward pass, so if it's dropped, there's no harm done. Khalil gets off a boomer to Hansen. He's going to take a fair catch at about the 43-yard line. Once again, a wise decision by P.J. Hansen. It's like those guys who take on the 6 different people and people staring at them.
I think the Plymouth coaching staff may have detected a little bit of hesitation and delay in Khalil's kicks, David. He's really not very quick in getting it off. They sent about 5 people in looking for the block on that play. Hansen was left naked. Probably wise in calling for the fair catch, giving the Panthers a first down on their own 44.
Certainly, if you take his health into consideration, he was wise. Friedman back in the ball game after a 1-play rest and the last drive, and they go right to Friedman, who's wrapped up right away. Underneath, Eric Arthur, I think, came around from the right side. No, check that. Steve McCarthy, number 58, in on the play. There he is.
We mentioned McCarthy's one of the 3 linebackers who really key the whole Bridgewater State defense. McCarthy had 37 tackles coming in. Oscar had 40. Jeff Hodgin had 39. Again, real balance. Everybody gets into the act with this Bridgewater defense.
This is the kind of team that really kills your per carry average, per yard per carry average. Friedman picks up 1, 2nd and 9. The other thing complicating, pretty brisk wind today, John. Passing game will be an inhibitor in the passing game. Jackson is going to go back to pass. Pressure on. Picked off! And he is going to go all the way. Don Levy takes it in. Right in the flat. Beautiful job of hiding in the weeds. There is a penalty flag on the play. Well, that looks in the area. Holding generally is the call on the offensive line.
At the 49-yard line, a nice play by Dunleavy. Steps up and just takes it with no one to impede his progress to the end zone, David. Had a lot of room to run. The officials are retrieving the flag. We'll see what the call is here.
And it is on Bridgewater.
After the interception. That is the first interception of the season for Dunleavy, and the touchdown looks like it may be coming back. There's some debate on the field right now about how they're going to step this off, whether it will be from the point of the infraction or from the point of the interception.
One thing for sure, though, John, is the Plymouth State defense is coming on the game, so the Bears will retain possession. That's kind of a trademark of the way they do things here. Bridgewater almost had the lead, the first score of the ball game, with only 2 minutes to go in the half. As we watch Don Levy step in right in front of John Pavia, and he just hid there, and he's off to the races. Nobody there to even come close to picking him off.
An illegal block was the call, but the Bears are in business at the Plymouth 44.
They're going to go to Como right off the bat.
Como's yards per Dave Como's yards per carry average is probably suffering, as is Friedman's. John Morley in on the tackle for the Panthers, his first call of the day.
You know, I was going to say, as I said, Bridgewater was going to look like they were going to have the first score of the game. They still don't have a first down. And that's trademark. They take advantage of things, but that comes back. We just hit 2 minutes to go, as you can see, in a scoreless tie between Plymouth State and Bridgewater State. They're in small college football. Hyman back to pass. He's looking in the right flat, looking deep to DeSisto. And he had him for a second, but it is picked off by Ken Danowitz. Nice job on the coverage for a second. I thought DeSisto was going to blow by him, but the pass could not catch up.
Second interception of the season for Danowitz. We'll take another look here. Hyman has all kinds of time rolling to his right. The line does a real nice job keeping everyone at bay. He has an extra blocker, and Como floats it downfield, and he did have the receiver open, David. You're right, he was open for a while. The pass is a little bit underthrown. You have to give Danowitz credit for coming back and staying with the ball. Another turnover. This time it's Plymouth in business at their own 6-yard line.
That's something Plymouth really hadn't done too much before this game. They only had 4 interceptions as a team in their first 5 games. And now in their last couple of possessions, they have 2 pickoffs. Okay, there's the pitch to Friedman. He cuts through. He's over the 20. He's to the 30, and he is taken down from behind. There is Don Levy with a big play, second play in a row. He saved a touchdown there, but Friedman, first time he's really had some running room, takes it up over the 30 for a 20-yard gain.
A little bit of a risky call. Pick this one up in action. It's a pitch to Friedman. He shoots through that first line of defense, and it looks like he has a lot of room to run. Give Dunleavy credit for staying with him. Friedman is not a man who's used to being run down in the open field. Dunleavy with the shoestring tackle pulls him down. First down for the Panthers.
Jason Vaga came up short, almost had him around the line of scrimmage. First and 10. Bowman is in the game, and he has the ball. And he is wrapped up by Grimes just as he gets over the line of scrimmage. Going to pick up about 1 yard on the play.
Grimes has played every position on the defensive line for the Bears this season, David, and you can see his versatility there as he comes through. First time we've had a call for Bowman, really. An interesting story on his arrival at Plymouth State, David.
Attended Kansas State a few years back, one of that played at the Big 8. The year Barry Sanders had the greatest season in college football history. 40 touchdowns. Amazing. Bowman was a featured runner for the Kansas State. And Jackson looking deep, and he is going. There's a Tendre. No, Carlo, what a catch! I don't know if they're going to give it to him. I thought he had...
Yeah, one official is pointing to the spot, David. It looks like he is going to get the call. Yes, they've ruled the catch. Carlo with a spectacular athletic move. I really want to see this one again.
Bernier in there on the coverage. I thought he had his hand on Bernier's back. Watch on the replay. Carlo's left hand is put in the back, or in the lower back of Scott Bernier.
Look at the loft on this pass. Again, nicely thrown by Turner. Jackson. We have a problem here now because the receiver has to look back into the sun, but Carlo is able to get it there. Was tipped up in the air. Looks like Bernier got a piece of it, but Carlo able to pull it down as he falls to the sideline. Panthers in business with a big first down inside the 30.
It's no relation to Lynn Swan, by the way. Ball to the 25-yard line. Hemman back in the tailback spot of the single back, and Friedman wrapped up before he gets to the line of scrimmage. And they continue to have tough going. Dan Grimes in on the play, and there's only 26 seconds to go in the period. And with a scoreless tie and 26 seconds to go, let's take a break. There's a timeout on the field.
The average Grand Prix lasts but a few hours, unless it's a Grand Prix started with a genuine Delco Freedom Battery. Delco's rated tops for taking the pole position in starting power and excelling in reserve capacity. Helps keep your engine in the race for a longer, more reliable life.
AC Delco. It's like buying time. Now through December 4th, get started with up to $14 cash back on Delco Freedom batteries.
We are back here, 25 seconds remaining in the first period of a scoreless tie between the Bears of Bridgewater State College and the Panthers of Plymouth State. And the Panthers with on the 30-yard line. John, have got to take it in the end zone. They've got probably 3 plays left. And coincidentally, it's second down, 2nd and 12. So they got to throw to the end zone. I don't think they can get away with running. And Jackson is back to pass, looking to the screen. And there's Friedman. What a play right out there on the flat. Jeff Hodgson has been there all day, and he saved some room.
Shoot, take another look at this, David. The Panthers used up 14 seconds as this play unfolds. Screens take a little longer than other pass plays. But the great defensive play by Hodgson. Again, Jackson does a nice job drawing the defense. The pass is dumped to Friedman, but Hodgson fires right past the blocker. Plymouth State, number 73, Matt Moore was in front, going to lead Friedman downfield, but Hodgson had none of that. Shot right through a big defensive play, and now the Panthers are looking at about a 3rd and 14. The distance to the yard marker is less important, however, than the distance to the goal line. 12 seconds left. Plymouth's got to put it up in the end zone, Dave, I would think, from about 35 yards away.
And Hodgson kind of used his legs to help take him down after the spin out. So, whoops, don't have him. I think I'll throw my legs in there, too, and took Friedman down as he tried to spin away.
Nothing wrong with a little leg whip. I'm sure Conrad Dobler would step forward and agree with that. Hodgson uses it for defensive purposes, however, here.
Well, a 3rd down and 14, but as you said, John, they've got to get it into the end zone. I would guess that they've got to take either 2 shots at it or try and pick up another 10 yards or so, get themselves in field goal position. Kyle Albers is the kicker for Plymouth. He is 2 for 3 on the year, really not that tested at this point, and he has a new kicker for the team this year, as long as 29 yards. So it'll be interesting to see what the Panthers do here coming out of the timeout. 2 men in the backfield. They might go to Boston the flat. That's not what they're going to do, though. They're looking deep into the end zone. Jackson gets rid of it to Carlo, who is open, and we have a touchdown. Broke free at about the 10-yard line, and Jackson just lofted it in, a perfect pass.
6th touchdown of the year for Carlo as he's able to pull away from coverage. Lou Garcia was the linebacker who was in coverage on Carlo. Take another look here. Big play for the Panthers. Jackson showing a lot of poise again. Rolls, has plenty of time by the defense. Puts it upfield, and Carlo is all alone. Jackson's 2nd touchdown pass of the season, but Carlo does all the work again as he runs away from the linebacker coverage. Lou Garcia beaten on foot, and the Panthers will go for the conversion.
That's a tough matchup. Albers in the game for the conversion. And it is up and it is no good wide to the right. With 5 seconds to go in the period, let's take a break.
Plymouth is diverse studies, but it's one spirit. Participation, enthusiasm, putting together the program that's right for you, that helps put you on the road you want to take. By some people's standards, 3,000 is a small college. By ours, Plymouth is one big family. That spirit filters into every part of campus life.
Ready?
This quality time was made possible by GMAC. With financing and leasing that can be arranged for your new GM vehicle fast, right at the dealership. Because GMAC believes you should be out enjoying your new car instead of waiting for it to be financed.
Well, what'd you think?
Can we go again?
GMAC, the expressway home.
Ready?
That first score of the first half, 6-0 on a beautiful pass from Andy Jackson to Paul Carlo, and they are just one kick away from going into the halftime with a lead, and I got to think they're going to squib it. And Alberts just dumps it in, and they have some room. Chris Langlois has it. He takes it up over the 35-yard line, but the clock runs out. And there you have it at the end of the first period as both teams are running off. Plymouth State waits until 5 seconds is left in the first half to score and put them ahead, and they go off with a 6-0 halftime lead, John.
Nice play by Plymouth again, David. I don't know that it was designed to work the clock in the way that they did. Jackson with the pass downfield to Carlo, who records his 6th touchdown of the year. And Jackson, who again has not played much so far this season, David, has been really having remarkable success. Picked up a 64-yard touchdown pass last week against Maine Maritime. This week he comes through with a touchdown pass for the only score in the first half of what was really a classic defensive battle.
And that's pretty much what we expected. Plymouth State probably got the biggest break of the game as a pass that was picked off by Dan Donlevy and took it home, stepped into the flat, hid in the weeds, and then stepped in and took the pass and went for a touchdown, was called back. Otherwise, we'd have a tie ball game.
Big momentum shift, and then the Panthers counter by picking off a pass of their own. Danowitz with the interception at the 6-yard line. The Panthers were able to convert that into a long drive that culminates with the Jackson to Carlo touchdown pass as the first half came to a close.
Okay, with the Plymouth State College Panthers scoring right before the end of the half. They have the lead, 6-0. We'll take a break, but stay with us.
So, you believe it's not worth playing Tri-State Megabucks unless the jackpot is really up there. Well, let's just suppose that this week's jackpot is only $1.3 million. Now, if you were to win, you would receive a check for $65,000 every year for 20 years. Well, before taxes. $65,000. It's not enough to get you to play? Are you kidding? Well, then here, sign it over to me.
Tri-State Megabucks. There's no such thing as a small jackpot.
Last chance.
Luxury at its finest is the highly appropriate slogan of the four-season Nordic Inn Condominium Resort in scenic Lincoln, New Hampshire. 1-, 2-, and 3-bedroom condominium suites include fully equipped kitchens, spacious bedrooms with full baths, fireplace living rooms, and decks overlooking the mountains. Make our Nordic Health Club yours. Come and experience all the amenities that make the Nordic Inn Resort luxury at its finest.
We are here at halftime. Plymouth State with a lead, 6-0 over Bridgewater State College in what has been a very big defensive struggle. Joining us now is Assistant Commissioner from the ECAC, John Garner, whose domain covers external affairs and also football. And John, we've got an interesting ball game going on.
Certainly do. A defensive struggle from word go. In fact, I think it was midway through the first period before anybody had a first down in the game. So two excellent defensive teams.
And of course, this our small football package here on Sports Channel will culminate with the Northeast Championship game of the ECAC, and these two teams have a good shot at being in that ball game.
No question about it. As you probably know, the ECAC sponsors 4 postseason championships, including the ECAC Northeast Division III football championship. The last 2 years, Bridgewater and Plymouth have participated in that particular championship game. So these are 2 of the top contenders, along with Maine Maritime and a couple of other ones, too.
And, of course, Maine Maritime is the only common opponent between these two teams. They won an 18-14 game against the Bears, and they came back last week to beat Plymouth by 1 point, and they have a tough team.
They really do. They have, in fact, they lost the nation's leading rusher, Kirk Matthew, about 3 weeks ago, and his replacement has had 200-yard games, two 200-yard games since then. So they've really filled in the gap pretty well with him.
Of course, some of the other games, you were at the ball game last week that we did with Worcester Polytech and Kings Point, the best game probably since BC Miami in the Doug Flutie game. But there's some terrific play. We saw some terrific players there last week, and there's some great players around New England here in Division III.
There really are. I mean, I think what happens is sometimes these guys get lost in the shuffle at the Division I AA level and Division II, and they end up on Division III campuses for one reason or another, and they really shine in Division III football.
And it's interesting. In fact, in the case of Plymouth in the game today, David Bowman, a transfer from Kansas State, has great potential. He got hurt early. Matt Friedman had been the starter last year, but Friedman's played so well he hasn't let Bowman get back in the game.
Yeah, in fact, according to the latest NCAA news, he's 3rd in the nation in rushing. That was before his 105-yard game last week, but he's still, I think, 6th or 7th in the nation in rushing, and he makes their offense go.
Okay, next week in our coverage we have Plymouth State Coast Guard. They're good. They're a good ball team. They've got Adam Wasserman at quarterback, and Coast Guard has some interesting players.
Yeah, they really do. I think the Coast Guard Plymouth State game has turned into some sort of a rivalry. Those two teams played back in 1988 in the ECAC Division III football championship, and those are probably 2 of the better teams that they've had in the last few years.
Okay, if I had to put you on the spot, who do you think of the 4 or 5 teams that are really in it, chance to get into the championship?
Well, you know, WPI's win, that may have gotten them back into the picture. Certainly Maine Maritime would have to be a leading contender. Again, 2 teams make it from New England. One hosts it in the Northeast. Another one travels to an upstate New York school in the Northwest Championship. So Bridgewater, Maine Maritime, Plymouth State, WPI, those are some of the teams that we're looking at this point.
Okay, that's the word from ECAC Assistant Commissioner John Garner, whose job domain is external affairs, and he administers football. And we'll be working with John for the rest of the season. Of course, we'll see him in the final game of the small college package, the ECAC Northeast Championship game. Okay, we'll send it back up to the booth, and let's take a break.
The average Grand Prix lasts but a few hours, unless it's a Grand Prix started with a genuine Delco Freedom Battery. Delco's rated tops for taking the pole position in starting power and excelling in reserve capacity. Helps keep your engine in the race for a longer, more reliable life.
AC Delco. It's like buying time. Now through December 4th, get started with up to $14 cash back on Delco Freedom batteries.
Through the magic of TV, now we're back up in the booth. Dave Long along with John Clayton, and sitting here talking about what has been an iron curtain defense on both sides of the ball here in the game between Plymouth State and Bridgewater State. The Bears trail it 6-0, John, and pretty much what we expected.
You talk about the iron curtain defense, David. I guess the only flaw in the fabric of that curtain was revealed in the closing moments of the first half. Perhaps we can get another look now at the lone score of the first half, unfolded as Plymouth, really with its back against the wall, went to the pass. We said they had to put it into the end zone, and that's just what occurred. Andy Jackson gets the pass and rolls to his right, sets up in the pocket, looks downfield. He's lucky because he catches his favorite receiver, Carlo, in one-on-one coverage with linebacker Lou Garcia. Carlo was able to out-sprint Garcia to the corner, fights off the sun as he looks back into it, and takes the pass in stride over his shoulder, rolls into the end zone with the only score of the game, and it came via the air, something we may not have expected before the game today.
And in that particular play, John, Garcia got caught in the coverage, but that might have been, looked like it was a zone, and Garcia maybe was the up man. The middle man did not come back and get a chance to make the play, and Carlo just broke free in his speed. That would be Bernier there, and that's actually Dan Don Levy, but I don't want to cast aspersions on Dan at this moment. We're not exactly sure what the coverage was, but certainly we do know that Plymouth got the score. But beyond that, John, Plymouth, you're right, you were surprised. I thought they might come up short and go for a field goal on that play, but they went for it, and We took a look at the extra point, which was missed, and maybe we got a glimpse of why they didn't go for the field goal that time. Not a strong kick by Albers.
Well, the gamble for the pass certainly paid dividends, and now the Bridgewater State Bears find themselves looking down the mouth of a 6-0 deficit, something they are unaccustomed to this year. They have reeled off 4 straight wins, and they are a dynamite offensive power thanks to their veer offense and their versatility. They've got to come out and make up some ground on the scoreboard and on the field as well. They've averaged 30 first downs per game this season, and they only have, I believe, 1 in the first half. It's been a real tough going thanks to the Plymouth defense for them. Have to see the Bears try and get on track with the offense now.
And Plymouth defense historically through the course of this season has gotten stronger as the game's gone on. Most of their points and yardage have been given up in the first quarter, and I know that's been a concern to Don Brown.
They've only given up 6 points in the fourth period so far this season, which is really rather a remarkable total. We talked about Bridgewater relying on wearing people down. The Panther defense does the same thing, grind people down, and again, they've only given up 6 points in the fourth quarter.
And remember, to do a little housekeeping, today's ball game is brought to you by Tri-State Megabucks. Just imagine. And John, we've got change of strategy, you think, coming up, or are they going to stick with their game plan?
I would think they would stick with the game plan because that's what's worked for them all year. Again, you have to recall that the Bears have a rather inexperienced quarterback in there as well. Dan Hyman is their third-string quarterback. I don't think you're going to want to gamble too much. Their offense is risky enough. The Veer is fraught with peril for a young quarterback, so I think they'll stay with what works for them normally, try and wear the Panthers down on the ground.
Okay, there you have it. Score 6-0. The out-of-staters, Plymouth State, leading it over the Bridgewater State Bears, and we're going to have all the second half action when we come back.
When you need a Toyota part fast, think of Grapponi Toyota. The trained professionals at Grapponi Toyota are always ready to provide you with the right part. Quickly, on time, at a fair price, and with service that will astound you. Their teamwork can get your Toyota back on the road in less time than you can say, pedal to the metal. Go for it. Grapponi Toyota, the absolute best commitment to customer service you'll find anywhere.
What do NASCAR North, a Pennsylvania monastery, the Erie Canal, the New Hampshire Broadcasters Association, and an Ohio computer software company all have in common? They've joined the ever-expanding list of satisfied clients who've turned to Creative Video for their television production projects. Learn what they've discovered. For quality, cost-effective television production services, from concept to completion, it's Creative Video Incorporated.
And the second half is just underway, and the ball goes through the arms. Number 30, John Price, and through the end zone. We have a touchback as we get started. That ball was taken by the wind. Looked almost like a knuckleball. It came right up in Price. All of a sudden, it took off.
Early in the game, in the first half, as you viewers at home may have realized, the wind was blowing from left to right. As you look at your screen, it's shifted a little bit now, blowing to our right in the press box, and I think a little bit of gust carried it right over the shoulder. Fortunately, no damage for Bridgewater State. They'll be able to set up at the 20-yard line.
That baby took a gust and just went right over his shoulder. I thought he was going to catch it at his hips there for a while.
Like playing center field at Cleveland Municipal Stadium, or perhaps even at Candlestick Park.
Okay, Bridgewater will take over on the 20-yard line. They'll stick with the Veer. The Sisto is wide right. Nguyen and Como. And Hyman keeps the ball. He's up over the 25, up to the 25. And he goes down. Nice job on the fake. Thought he was going to Nguyen. He kept it. Derek Stone, first guy to make a hit.
Stone was in on the tackle.
And they pick up 5, and that was the first time they've had a 5-yard gain on first down, probably the whole game.
We're talking about Bridgewater averaging 30 first downs a game, David. They're still in search of their first down thus far this game. We have to give some credit to the Panther defense.
David Toto checks in at the wide right. He came in and gave Hyman the play. Stick with the Veer. Hyman to the wide side of Toto to the wide side of the field. They go to Como on the cross buck, and he's got some running room over the 30. He's got the first down for the Bears, and they've come out of the locker room, John, with a lot of fire.
A lot of fire. P.J. Hansen with a great pursuit chasing Como down. We've talked about Como's speed in the open field. He's a 200-meter NCAA runner. Showed a little bit of flash right there. Hansen pulled him down, but the Bears may be getting on track, David. Their first down.
Okay, ball made it all the way up to about shy of the 35-yard line. First and 10, they'll go from there. Ball right now in the ball game. Paul Wright now in the ball game. He is tight to the right, Sisto to the left, and they go inside. Fumble, and Como recovers it. And he's going to come up, looks like about a 2-yard loss. He comes out of bounds on the play. Number 26, Andy Levine, forced Como out of bounds.
First time we've heard Andy's name so far today, defensive secondary man out of Manchester West High School. There's the muffed handoff. You could see that Hyman was going to keep the ball and look for the pitch. Dropped it to the ground. Fortunately, he had Como as a deep man. Como with the recovery. As a look at Andy Levine, whose father has joined the coaching staff at Plymouth after years at West High School in Manchester.
And that player right there, handling that handoff, can be the Achilles heel to the Veer. Hyman's going to roll to his left and look over the middle of the field. He's got Wright, who just overruns the ball. He's by Levine, who catches it, and Wright comes up with a job. He just watched the ball, put the brakes on, and Levine ran right by him. He takes it up over the 30 to about the 27-yard line.
Paul Wright, the leading receiver for the Bears thus far this season, had 12 catches for an average of 22 yards coming into the game. Certainly he didn't hurt the average with that one. Take another look here. Hyman once again going to the air. Plenty of time, plenty of protection, rolling left, able to look downfield, and at this point Levine is beat. He's completely out of the play. Wright has to come back for the ball, and that allows Levine to get back into it and pull him down.
And Como going around the right side with some room. He is going to look like he takes it up over the 10, but I think he was knocked out earlier around the 16-yard line. Coming back into the play, Levine once again. All of a sudden, after not hearing too much about Andy Levine, he's been in the last 3 plays.
He's in the thick of things. That's the way it works. They go into the locker room at halftime and they try and find spots in the defense they can try and take advantage of. Andy Levine putting himself into the running game and also being tested by the passing game of the Bears.
And the play will start at the 11-yard line, 1st and 10. Bridgewater will have a chance to get another first down. Not even 2 minutes gone, and Bridgewater has come out and just marched right down the field. Hyman has the ball, he keeps it, and he is tackled by Friedman. Jason Friedman came from the left guard spot, just penetrated on the pull, and the trap blocker must have missed him, and he just came in and made the play.
You have to give Plymouth defense credit. They take a look at Jason Friedman, the sophomore defensive end. They really are resilient, David. They give up a big play, but they come right back, stick them for a loss, and now the Bears are looking at about a 2nd and 12, 13.
And he's no relation to Andy Levine, even though he looks just like him. And there he is. Okay, 2nd down, 2-yard loss. Como and Nguyen in the backfield. Hyman, a long count, goes to Nguyen, who just buried underneath. Falling on the play at the end is number 91. And I missed who made that tackle. I think it was Toby Cloutier, actually, was the player underneath who made the play. And then Mark Crossman. There's Doug Nguyen. Kennebunkport, Maine.
Neighbor of George Bush, no doubt.
Okay, 2 wide receivers. They've gone away from the 2 tight end job. David Toto and Wright on the right side. They're flooding that area. Hyman is under some pressure. Cloutier gets a hand on him. He gets away from Colby and throws an underhand pass to Nguyen. Quick thinking, dangerous thinking, and really not a real big upside to that one as Nguyen got taken out of bounds on just about the line of scrimmage.
Really out there in the open field. Hyman taking the kind of chance that makes coaches gray before their time. Good pursuit by Plymouth. You get Barry coming in after him, and he really is bottled up.
Great block by Nguyen on the play earlier. Somehow he gets up and goes back into it. And there's a little flip pass. Sorry, John.
The flip to Nguyen, who is able to handle it in before getting knocked out of bounds. And now the Bears will go for a field goal.
Matt Carroll on, and he lets one go, and it is way up in the air, and he gets 3. He moves to 9 for 11 on the season, and he is the leading scorer in the New England Football Conference by twice as much as the nearest guy, and he showed why as he launched that field goal from about probably a 31-yard field goal.
42 points on the season for Matt Carroll coming into the game, runs the total of 45. You said, David, among the leaders in New England.
He really got a good foot in it. That's what I thought might come down to be the edge in this ball game. Now the Bears are within 3 at 6-3. Got to feel good at that drive as they came out and really just took the Panthers and just stood them up and moved them right down the field.
And that kick was into the wind, we should add. Testament to the power in Matt Carroll's right leg. And now he'll line it up for the kick and give the ball back to Plymouth.
Matt Friedman and R.J. Letendre are the two players back to receive. Friedman, don't always see starting guys back there. Letendre, the leading kick returner for the team. Got to think teams kick it away from Friedman.
A week ago, we saw the value of special returns when Ernie Anta from WPI broke one 85 yards to get his team back in the game.
Right after I told him to kick it away from him, there we go to Friedman. He's got a short kick at about the 22. He's coming left. Got some room on the left side. He's up over the 30 to close, and he bounces ahead over the 40 to about the 44-yard line. So 22-yard return off of a kick that did not go particularly deep.
Ties Matt Friedman's long return for the year. There's one of the dangers, perhaps, as we see Friedman on the ground. You don't want your best guys doing this, but he has a nice lead set up here. As you can see, he's breaking to his left, has a nice wall, has to cut it in because of one contained man, but he takes a big hit here at the end just before he hits the ground. Boom, on the shoulder. Friedman is down, and they're tending to him now on the sidelines. Matt is the senior from Maine who's really been carrying the team, and with Friedman down on the field, Plymouth holding a 6-3 lead. We'll be back after this message.
This quality time was made possible by GMAC. With financing and leasing that can be arranged for your new GM vehicle fast, right at the dealership. Because GMAC believes you should be out enjoying your new car instead of waiting for it to be financed. GMAC, the expressway home.
Welcome back to Bridgewater, Massachusetts. Plymouth State leads Bridgewater State in a tightly contested game, 6-3, on the strength of a 3-run homer by Andy Jackson. But they are working on Matt Friedman still. He's hurt on the return as he took the ball to the 42-yard line, although he is now on his way up and looks like right shoulder initially, and I'm not sure if it wasn't just got the wind knocked out of him, but he walks off, looks pretty steady. So we have, he's going to be out. David Bowman will come in to replace him most likely, and number 27. And there he is. Wide out to the right is Carlo. Let's go, Dave! Two tight ends in the ball games. Plymouth's going to look and try and pound it a little bit more. They go to Bowman, who goes over the left side, but really not a lot of running room. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage. A whole host of people, Dan Grimes down there on the tackle.
There you are on the Bridgewater State sidelines as they scout the action, trying to figure out a way to stop the Plymouth offense. It hasn't been a juggernaut. Here you see Bowman take the handoff, going in, working the left side of the line. This time, really not much room. Good pursuit by Bridgewater State.
And Jason Vaga in the ball game, and he made the play as well, the initial hit, and took Bowman down from behind. There goes Bowman again, right up the middle. He's got some room, and he takes it out, kind of juke steps, and takes it out over the 50 to about the 49-yard line, and that's about a 7-yard gain.
Here you see what has made Bowman such an attractive package for the Plymouth State coaching staff as he comes in, finds some room in the middle. There isn't a lot of room, but he takes advantage of what's there. Looks like another step. He might have been able to break it for more. He's pulled down to the ground by Lou Garcia in the secondary.
They got a third and 3. Bowman remains in the ball game. Matt Friedman continues to take a rest. Jackson hands to Bowman, who's hit immediately right there behind the line of scrimmage for about a 3-yard loss. What a surprise. John Hogden in the ball game. Jeff Hogden in on the tackle. He is there and continues to be a stalwart in the ball game, John.
Take another look at this here. He's got great penetration. Hogden shoots right through a slot, and as Bowman gets wrapped up by one player, Hogden's in there to help pull him down. Good pursuit again by the defense, and it's a 4th down for Plymouth.
And they're going to punt it away. John Price back in his accustomed spot. Jeff Caputo, the other deep man. And Andy Jackson is in to punt it. Not a lot of pressure, and it's going to go to Caputo as he's back inside the 10-yard line. A lot of white shirts down there. He gets past, thought he was going to get past the first wave, but he doesn't do it. Colby Compton down there in the play, the starting right defensive end. And former Dynasty character makes the play. Good job. Caputo gets to about the 12-yard line.
Will be the leading tackler for the Panthers from their set defense, also showing some extra effort here on special teams today.
Linebacker, I should say. Been playing all over. They stand him up there in the line. Sometimes it's back deep. Now he is on the field and goes off to the left-hand side. Plymouth stays in the 4-man front, 4 linebackers, 3 deep. And they go to Como. in red. He is down at about the 15-yard line. Really not much gain on the original line of scrimmage, and the game continues. The game continues to be a grind-away thing, and it could be one of these things of whoever wears whoever out at the end is going to be the winner.
Another look here as Como gets a face-to-face look at the Plymouth defense. Really nothing there. Toby Cloutier, first one to meet him at the line, and also Keith Ferrara in the game off the bench wrestles him to the ground.
First time to call Keith's name. 2nd down and 9 to give Como a 1-yard gain. Hyman looks to Como, goes to Nguyen instead, and he has nowhere to go. And he is going to be stopped right at the original line of scrimmage for a 1-yard loss, and we're looking at a 3rd and 10. John Morley, defensive end, in on the play, number 42.
Jason Friedman also in there. Everybody from the Plymouth defense getting into the act now, really pushing it to the Bears, looking at about a 3rd and 8 now, David, I would guess, from the 22.
They did get the favorable mark. You're right. Scoreboard's got 3rd and 9. I'll take issue with you, John.
Okay.
2 wideouts. DeSisto comes to the near side of the field. Number 21. Paul Wright is on the right-hand side. They always put him on the right-hand side. And it makes sense. Hyman back to pass immediately. They're looking in the flat. And Hyman has all kinds of room. He's got the wide open side of the field on the left. And he is tripped up by Cloutier, number 40, Derek Stone, number 41, in a play. He really closed in a hurry because Hyman had a lot of room. But he gets the first down.
Not before Hyman was able to pick up the first down, as you said, David. Derek Stone with pursuit. But give Hyman credit here for knowing when it was time to tuck it under his arm and run. Gets away from a little bit of pressure inside. John Barry coming in on him, but Hyman just sees the space and runs to it, heading for the wide sideline. Looked like he had a little more room, but he was tracked down.
Okay, Bears continue to look good here in the early part of the second half. Como has a big gainer up over the 40-yard line to about the 43-yard line, close to a first down once again. Looks like he might come up a tad short. If he does, it'll be 2nd and 1, and the Bears continue to make a lot of trouble for the Panthers.
Levine in there again on the tackle, showing up more and more here in the Plymouth defense, probably because the running backs are getting into that secondary more, forcing the deep men from Plymouth to make the stops.
And the defensive back switch on either side. Levine goes to the left-hand side of the field. Danowitz goes to the right. One wide out is DeSisto. They go right back up the middle to Como, who really picks up 1-2 yards. Toby Cloutier in on the stop. Flying through was Jason Friedman. Well, I think he missed and kind of wound up in the backfield. I tell you what, you wouldn't want to get hit by him because he was going like a locomotive.
Head of steam. Perhaps if Friedman had made direct contact, it might have had a better effect. Instead, running back is able to squeeze through for the first down. The Bears continue their march with a first down now from about the 45-yard line.
They've already gotten 4 more first downs here in the first 8 minutes of the second half than they did in the first half. They have 4 or 5. Means they have 5 more than they had in the second half. In the first half, none. And there it goes to the pass immediately. It was slapped in by Dan Tappan, I believe. And just kind of falls harmlessly to the turf. That's a dangerous pass when that happens because the people were wide open out in the flat. But fell harmlessly to the ground. Mark Crossman might have been the other guy who got his hands on it, number 91.
Take another look at this. Hyman hasn't had much problem with the line. They've been doing a good job. But Tappan is a big guy, 6'1", 230, able to knock it down. And with timeout on the field, we'll be back after this message.
There are many choices open to you. There are over 50 academic programs, including teacher education, business, liberal arts, and sciences. And each one is an adventure. Dr. David Switzer and his students dive down to the wreck of the Stella Marion, a sunken steamer in Newfound Lake. Monique Sanders spent last summer and part of this winter atop Mount Washington, gathering weather data. Plymouth's meteorology program is the only one in the state of New Hampshire.
Armed with a presidential order,
Jim Kortovich followed his interest in politics to a prestigious LBJ scholarship, working as an intern in Washington.
What part of our body do we hear with? Kevin? The ear, that's right.
Suzanne Peralta is a senior completing her teaching program with an internship as a student teacher in the 3rd grade at Campton Elementary School. And this is Seymour. Seymour's experience at Plymouth State College is pretty simple. He presses the right button and gets some food. But every move he makes is part of a complex pattern being studied by these psychology students.
Welcome back to Bridgewater, Massachusetts. Bridgewater on the driving on Plymouth State. They see Plymouth leads it by 3, but Bridgewater's been in control here in the second half. Athletic director Steve Bamford from Plymouth State is stepping in here for a minute. Dan Hyman goes back to pass, and
Colby Compton on that one.
The pocket collapses, and he went back to about the 45-yard line. Steve, you of course are very familiar with football. The NCAA chairman of the Eastern Region Division III football, and what are your thoughts about the ball game so far?
Well, it's been a defensive struggle. I was very surprised that we got on the board in the waning moments of the first half. Obviously, you know that we have a quarterback that's rather untested, and he hasn't had too much experience, and he's taking over for David Turner, who was out last week with an injury, but I thought he handled himself very well in the first half.
Okay, 3rd and 13. Plymouth looks like they're going to put on the blitz. Hyman back to pass, and there it is. They go to the screen, and he does all he can do to just get it away. Goes by Como in dangerous territory, but fell harmlessly to the turf, and we're going to see Bridgewater turn the ball back over to Plymouth. Take a look at the replay.
Actually, what they had as a blitz package on right here for Plymouth, and the quarterback didn't have enough time to throw the football to the receiver that he intended to throw it to.
Khalil in the game to punt it away. P.J. Hansen is back deep, and once again, the ball bounces in front of Khalil, and he's does all he can do just to get it off. Got the big bounce again. Hansen runs away. Plymouth is going to have the ball go down to about the 20-yard line, and that's where it'll be as we turn things over. Now, Steve, your role with the NCAAs, these are in the East region. There are the Northeast region, two of the top 4 teams in the region right now, in Plymouth and Bridgewater. And your role in terms of those rankings, what does that mean as we go from week to week?
Well, there's 229 football-playing schools in the NCAA Division III ranks, and we have about 65 in the East region. It goes all the way from Metro New York, New Jersey to upstate New York, and of course into New England. And every Monday morning we have a conference call and we rank the teams in our region, and then we release those rankings on the national level on my national call at 2 o'clock every Monday afternoon. And those are the rankings that you see each week in the paper. They usually are in the Boston Globe on Boston Herald on Tuesday mornings, and we have we rank the top 6 teams in our particular region and the next best 4 alphabetically.
Okay, Plymouth on the first down. David Bowman in the ball game, remains in the game for Friedman, picks up 5, actually picks up about 3, picks up to the 25-yard line, so we've got a 2nd and 7. Bowman on the pitch again, and he completely reverses field, and he has got not a lot of room to go. Number 36, Jim Kostka, in on the play as Bowman was completely shut down on the right-hand side. He tried to take it around to the left.
Well, this Bridgewater defense just goes to the football very, very well. And David didn't have any running room in this play.
Now, of course, Steve, you guys are in transition to Plymouth State. Don Brown, the new, there is the NCAA standings. Plymouth State 2, Bridgewater 3, Maine Maritime, the leader in the New England region. Get back to that point in a second about Don Brown as we've got a 3rd and 11. Jackson looking to pass, and here comes the blitz right off the bat. Out from the left-hand side, Frank Davis, who was filling in for the injured David Qualley. And he just came from the right-hand side and put Jackson away. Comes up in the top of your screen. And there he is, Jackson with no room to go.
That outside linebacker was in on Jackson before he had a chance to even see who he's going to throw it to.
Absolutely. And Jackson remains in the game to punt it. Once again, Caputo is back to receive. John Price also back there. Dangerous John Price. Jackson gets it away, and it's going to go to Price, who's got it. He fumbles it on the floor, and he dives on the ball. No good. Plymouth looks like they have gotten the ball at the 50-yard line and recovered the fumble, and they're going to take over the big break for the Panthers.
Being in the right place at the right time. Obviously, the ball was skirted loose there, but he was there to make the play and fall on the football, and it's 1st and 10, Plymouth State.
Number 43, John Pavia, recovered the fumble for Plymouth State.
That is 13th fumble, 14th fumble on the year for Bridgewater. Plymouth turns it over, and those are the things in games like this, Steve. Those are the things in games like that. There's the fumble that really can turn things around.
Especially in the defensive battle, and this is what we have here this afternoon.
Was it Carlo or Derek Stone that made the recovery? I'm not quite sure. Carlo was there, but Stone might have slid right in. And Jackson is going deep to nobody in particular. It's going to be 1st and 10. I wanted to come back to that point. Don Brown, you're in transition to Plymouth. Don Brown, his first year, and how are things going?
Well, we've just been so very impressed with Don Brown and his coaching staff, and this is his first year. He's a very focused young coach, and we think that he's going to be able to do some great things at the helm of the Panther football program.
Of course, he also, in addition to coaching football, was a baseball coach at Yale University, and is that attributed to what the score is right now?
I think so. You mentioned earlier it was the 3-run home run by Andy Jackson.
That's right.
That's the difference today.
Friedman is back in the ball game. They tried to go to the draw. He had nowhere. Lost 5. Immediately diagnosed. Koska once again in on the play. Good to see Matt Friedman back on the field.
I think he was shaken up. Probably lost his win on that kickoff return.
Okay, Plymouth in kind of a hole, 3rd and 14, not really taking advantage of the big break that they had. Friedman, incidentally, has 70 yards on 20 carries so far in the ball game. He remains in the game. Jackson looking deep. He's got Carla Tendre. No hit as he goes out of bounds.
Latendra has 4.5 speed, Dave, and obviously we try to throw to him long as often as possible, but the free safety came over and he was about ready to make that play anyway.
Okay, Plymouth has got nowhere to go. They marched backwards on that particular series with under 3 minutes to go in the period, incidentally. Plymouth still leads at 6-3. Jackson is going to remain in the game to punt it. Caputo and Price are back there. Plymouth's going to pick up something on the field position. Caputo, it goes to at the 15-yard line. Comes right back up the middle of the field. And just a few guys in on the play. Okay, with the 4-6-3, Plymouth has the lead. Bridgewater takes over. We're coming back.
Bridgewater State College, founded in 1840, is home to approximately 5,300 full-time undergraduate and 1,500 graduate students who are taking advantage of the vast liberal arts program BSc offers. Situated on a 170-acre campus in southeastern Massachusetts, Bridgewater State offers its students a quality education made possible by an excellent faculty, advanced facilities, outstanding resources for learning, and a sincere concern for the well-being of each individual student. Bridgewater also offers a variety of student life activities rich in depth and scope. There are more than 70 student clubs and organizations on campus, in addition to an extensive intercollegiate athletic and intramural program. Bridgewater State College, from its beginning, has been dedicated to a tradition of excellence and public service, with its goal being to provide access to higher education to all qualified students. And that dedication will continue into the 90s, as it has for the past 150 years.
What I think is most exciting about Bridgewater State College is the spirit of the faculty, the students, the staff, and the alumni. This is a college community that reaches out for every opportunity to learn and grow. With the spirit we have, and with the addition of our new $10 million technology center, I am enormously optimistic about Bridgewater's future.
Bridgewater State College, an institution of higher learning for one and all.
Today's Bridgewater State versus Plymouth State football game is being brought to you by Tri-State Megabucks. Just imagine.
First and 10, ball goes to Nguyen. He has nowhere to go. Replay of a play just a second ago. No gain. Andy Levine on the stop as it goes out the sideline. They pick up about 2 yards on the play. Bridgewater has a 2nd and 8 situation as we approach the 2-minute mark in the 3rd period. They go on that cross puck again that was successful earlier in the game. Not that time. Como hit in the backfield, and he is down. P.J. Hansen came in from his deep safety spot to make the play, really diagnosed it. And that is probably will be credited. I don't know if they'll give him a sack. P.J. has no sacks on the season, but it certainly will be a tackle for a loss.
This is a very, very big football game, and I'm sure that you have alluded to this earlier in the broadcast today, David, for an ECAC playoff bid come the end of the season. The NCAA obviously will select their teams on November 14th, the day after the football season ends, for Division III playing schools, and on November 14th, I'm sure that Bridgewater and Plymouth State will get some consideration if they continue to win out the rest of the way. Bridgewater will have had 2 or 3 losses, Plymouth the same, so they're both going to be in contention for an ECAC bid come the end of the season.
Kyler Moore in the game for the first time put pressure on Hyman as he really kind of dumped it down into the flat. Almost could have said he wasn't throwing it to anybody in particular, wanted to get rid of it. So Bridgewater doesn't really do much with that possession. They're going to kick it back to the Panthers. And now they're going to put 10 guys on the line of scrimmage, put pressure on Khalil, and Hansen is the only one back. And once again, the snap is low, and there's a bad kick. Khalil finally caught up with him, and the ball is going to only get about a 9-yard gain, an advantage for Bridgewater. Okay, with the score, Plymouth up by 3. We're coming back.
The average Grand Prix lasts but a few hours, unless it's a Grand Prix started with a genuine Delco Freedom Battery. Delco's rated tops for taking the pole position in starting power and excelling in reserve capacity. Helps keep your engine in the race for a longer, more reliable life.
AC Delco. It's like buying time. Now through December 4th, get started with up to $14 cash back on Delco Freedom batteries.
First and 10, Plymouth State from the Bridgewater 30-yard line.
Plymouth State, the break of the game so far, they're going to start from their own 30-yard line. Matt Friedman takes it as they go over the 30 on first down. And he picks up only about 2 yards on the play.
Steve McCarthy with the stop for the Bears, who've been having trouble, David. McCarthy is a transfer from Wagner, one of the other transfers. We talked about Bowman. McCarthy's another transfer having come in this year after his freshman year in New York at Wagner.
And Bowman comes in the game replacing Freeman, who ran off a little gingerly. Bowman has had problems, at least in the first game, with a couple of fumbles. This is not where you want that to happen. He is banged as he gets out over actually makes it just about to the line of scrimmage at about the 27-yard line. So Plymouth is going to come up on 3rd down and 8. And remember, Plymouth has not, looking ahead to a field goal situation, they have not distinguished themselves at this point. Kyle Albers, the kicker, so Plymouth is going to have to see what they can come up with here, get it a little bit closer to give Albers a more legitimate shot.
And at this end, David, at least he will be kicking with the wind as opposed to against it. But I think the Panthers are going to want to talk it over. They've indicated a timeout on the field for Plymouth.
And Jack Dalton just came in the game. Jack Dalton, as I said, just came in the game in place of Bowman. But there is a timeout in the field. Let's take a break.
So, you believe it's not worth playing Tri-State Megabucks unless the jackpot is really up there. Well, let's just suppose that this week's jackpot is only $1.3 million. Now, if you were to win, you would receive a check for $65,000 every year for 20 years, well, before taxes. $65,000. It's not enough to get you to play? Are you kidding? Well, then here, sign it over to me.
Tri-State Megabucks. There's no such thing as a small jackpot.
Last chance.
Television, communication, perception, information, discussion, consultation, comprehension, connection, dissemination, duplication, promotion, cultivation, realization, revelation, exclamation, hesitation, hesitation, television production by creative video. Yeah.
Big play lies ahead for the Panthers here in inside, deep inside Bridgewater territory, about the 27-yard line. 3rd down and 8 to go. John, what do you call this situation?
Well, it's their last play with the wind. I wouldn't be surprised to see them put it up in the air, David. They do have the advantage right now. 3rd and about 7, 8, 9, whatever. They need to push the ball downfield.
9 seconds left in the quarter. I think they're going to go. This is 2-play territory, though, John. I don't think you're going to see them kick it from this distance. That'd be a 44-yarder. Here comes the reverse, fake reverse to Letendre, who's going to take it up out short. He goes out probably on about the 22-yard line, driven out of bounds by Dan Donlevy.
Not sure at this point whether it will be enough for it. Letendre does not carry the ball often. Take another look here. We get the good pitch, and the fake here does work a little bit. It gets the defense going in the other direction, but wisely, Hodgin is able to stay with him and take it upfield. Letendre's forced out of bounds at about the 24, David. Good call, and the question now is whether Albert has the foot.
And they're not going to worry about it. It's 3rd and 4. They're going for it on 4th down. Probably a good move. And a single setback. Friedman is back in the ball game. Boss is there looking in the flat to Friedman, and they don't have it.
Jackson, sack, number 98,
no time to do it. Dan Grimes in on the play with the sack. The Bears are going to take over. That's a big play as the 4th period ends. The 3rd period, check that. The 3rd period ends. Plymouth still has the lead, 6-3. We're coming back.
Plymouth State, 6.
Some people are naturally faster than others. In fact, everything they do is fast. Fast, 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 fast. Now, not everyone appreciates that. But if you're looking to get a new GM car or truck financed, fast is exactly what you want.
Mac will take care of your financing.
And the folks who arrange GMAC financing and leasing are faster than just about anyone else. GMAC, the expressway home.
You forgot your sunglasses.
Another look here. There's not much room for Jackson because the pocket collapses around him. Dan Grimes given credit for the sack. We talked about his versatility, David. He's played all of the defensive line positions so far this season and showed why on that play.
Okay, Bears take over on downs on the 26-yard line. Khalil and Como in the game. Hyman pitches to Khalil. There's a block from behind, no call. And Como gets around Toby Cloutier, number 36, makes the play, forces Como out of bounds at about the 28-yard line.
Take another look here as Hyman starts on the outside play, makes a late pitch here and gets it up in the air. Como has to fight off the sun to take that floating pitch, and again gets out of bounds after really no gain. Probably lost a yard on the play. Good pursuit by Cloutier.
Imagine what he would have had to do if he had to take on the father on this one. Okay, 2nd down and 9. Bears, after an impressive opening drive, have had trouble offensively here in the second half, and Colby Compton just rips through an opening in the line and throws Hyman to the ground. Dan Hyman had kind of like the Jackson play. Take a look at the replay right at the top of your screen. Here comes Colby. Nobody hit. Well, he slips a block, and he just has Hyman before he can even get back to his spot. He has a faster drop than Hyman does.
I'm not sure whether we would call that a tackle or a sack. We never saw what Hyman had in mind. We'll count it as a sack, and that will be number 6 on the season for Colby Compton.
I don't know what Alexis would say about that. Okay, 3rd down and 11. Hyman didn't even have a chance to get back in the pocket to make the loss worthwhile. And they go to Como on a safe play. He takes it over to 25, and he's going to come up way short of the first down. So the ball is going to, unless they do something tricky, is going to go back over to the Panthers, as the battle of field position pretty much has been the story today, John.
Colby Compton comes up big again for the Panthers, leading tackler coming into the game, and certainly he's not going to be in any jeopardy of surrendering that status today.
And he has played a good game. He's moved around a lot there back in the defense in the linebacker spot, playing a lot of places on the field. 10 guys on the line, they're going for the block, come up short. Hansen out by himself, and he fumbles the ball, and he lost it. Bridgewater is going to get it, and they ripped it out of his hands. It's the first time he hasn't taken the fair catch. He was out there, as we said, several times naked, and then you're going to get a look at it as it hits him right in the shoulder pad. Up to number 8.
Here it is. Again, he's trying to take the ball on the fly, catches him in the pads, and falls to his feet. Makes a nice effort to juggle to try and come up with the ball, but before he can, Steve Johnson with a big hit on coverage for Bridgewater knocks him off the ball. A slight wrestling match ensues, but Johnson comes up with the ball. That is the 11th fumble Panthers have lost this season, and it's a big one, giving the Bears possession inside Plymouth territory.
As we said, field position has been the main story of this game. Bridgewater now has the great field position at the 43, and they're going back to pass immediately. Throwing downfield, and there is a push by Wright, and they're not going to call anything, probably because Andy Levine couldn't have made the catch. One of those, I don't know if you can call it inadvertent contact. That was kind of the best block of the day, I thought, but No play ball falls harmlessly to the turf. Good coverage by Levine.
It will go as inadvertent contact, but Levine just set up and got steamrolled on the play. Ball falls harmlessly to the ground, and it's 2nd and 10 for Bridgewater.
Dave Toto comes in the ball game with the play from the sidelines. He replaces DeSisto, and we have 2 wideouts to the left. Toto and Wright. Hyman back to pass again. And it is to Wright, and he has it for the moment and drops it. Hansen in there on the coverage, and we've got a flag on the play. Colby Compton was back there as well, and I'm not sure what the call is. I really didn't see it.
Flag came way downfield, looking down on the whole play in the secondary. Hansen was there, able to get a piece of the ball, enough to knock it away. But before they flip the down marker to indicate 3rd down, the officials will discuss this right now, see which way the call goes.
Once again, game like this generally turns on. There's a defensive interference call, turns on the brakes, and Bridgewater has gotten 2 huge breaks so far. Now they're into Matt Carroll's territory first, inside of his range to kick a field goal, and they are marching 1st and 10 on about the 27-yard line. And Don Brown can't be too happy about that.
It could be a pivotal call. Again, we're inside the 4th quarter now, 13:26 left on the clock, and Plymouth is clinging to a slim 6-3 lead at this point.
Right to the right, DeSisto to the right to the left, and DeSisto to the right. I knew that was going to screw me up sooner or later. And there is Hyman on the straight dive ahead on the handoff. Como has it wrapped up. Friedman in on the play. John Morley in on the play. He was the first guy who got his hands on Como.
Pressure placed once again squarely on the Plymouth defense. Each time they seem to have stopped the Bears in this half, they get a break. Good teams make their own breaks, and Bridgewater's doing that today.
We are under 13 minutes to go here in the ball game. Panthers, at least momentarily, lead it by 3. Khalil and Como in the backfield. Hyman looking to pass, and he is under big pressure in the screen, and it is caught by Como, who's over the 10-yard line and goes out of bounds. Nice job by Hyman, who had the pressure on him, had the presence of mind to stand there and dump it off to Como.
Take another look at this play again. Give Hyman credit for nice, cool head under pressure. He's rolling to his left, and he has all kinds of people coming at him in white shirts. He floats it out there, and Como's at his best in the open field. He's the 200-meter runner with the NCAA credentials. Looks upfield, takes a big hit from Andy Levine before getting bumped out of bounds. The Bears are in business.
He got out into the flat ahead of Toby Cloutier. Cloutier did not have the speed to stay with him. 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line. Hyman keeps the ball on the pitch to Como. He tries to cut outside. Compton momentarily forced him outside, and then Levine comes up and finishes up the job as he drags him out of bounds at about the 11-yard line. It's like about maybe a 1-yard gain.
Andy Levine coming up big for the Panthers here in the second half, getting calls more and more. Again, perhaps because the Bears are getting into the secondary a little bit more. 2nd and about 11. Take another look here. Again, Como with the speed on the pitch, takes the ball without a lot of room, but he's got those good hands looking downfield even before he catches the ball, is able to slip Colby Compton, something they haven't done often today before Levine knocks him out of bounds.
But he slowed him up a little bit to let the defense, the secondary, come in. Here comes the pass to Hyman. He's looking in the end zone. He's just dragged down on the play. Beautiful play by Derek Stone. He blitzed in from a safety spot, jumped over a body. That's his 6th sack. They like to blitz him from that spot, John.
And there's really not much you can do to stop an airborne defender in this case. Hyman does have the one blocker after the fake to Como, and he just takes the high road right over the back of Como, brings Hyman down for the big loss. 3rd down and long for Bridgewater State.
Okay, what are they going to do? They're going to play it conservative. They got the good kicker. They can get the tie if they get it within probably another 5 yards or so. Give Carroll a good shot at it. Or do they go into the end zone? Como in motion. He goes into the slot on the left-hand side. 3 players in the slot left. That's what they're doing. They're flooding left. They throw into the middle of the end zone, and it is way out of territory. Paul Wright was the intended receiver. And P.J. Hansen, no, check that. It was Ken Danowitz was back there on the coverage. Nice job. Really pinned right to the back line, John, and gave them nowhere to throw the ball.
And decision time now for Peter Mazzaferro on the Bridgewater State sideline. He does have the wind at his back, and he does have the skilled kicker.
And he has 25 years of experience behind him here at Bridgewater to make this decision, and he didn't hesitate at all. He's going to Matt Carroll, who's going to kick it from the 30-yard line, 29, so it's a 39-yard attempt. Plenty of leg. It's off to the left, though. No good. The Panthers dodged a bullet, but I'll tell you, it could have went another 10 yards. So the Panthers maintain their 3-point lead with just under 12 minutes to go, and we're coming back.
Seconds remaining in the ball game. The score remains.
When it comes to drugs, kids say the darndest things.
I think that kids are afraid to tell their parents. It's like you want to do it, but you don't want to do it at the same time.
You know, we don't talk to them about that kind of stuff.
Well, I feel comfortable talking to my cousins about it.
I talk to my next-door neighbor's daughter.
Don't wait until you think there's a problem. Talk with your kids before the problem starts. Find out how they feel about drugs and listen to what they have to say. As parents.
1st and 10 for the Panthers. They're going to take on the left-hand side. Friedman back in the ball game. Possession starts at the 22-yard line, and Friedman may have gotten it to the 25, John. And they continue to struggle against this front wall of the Bears.
That's what we had expected them to be confronted with, Dave. The Bears, again, average 19 yards surrendered on the ground defensively. Plymouth has probably had a lot more success than other teams so far, but wonder if it'll be enough to get them out of this hole they're in right now.
And the field position battle, they probably need a couple of first downs to make themselves, the coaching staff, feel a little bit better. And there is Jackson with the ball. Nice job on the defensive end. Ken Davis, Frank Davis, really kind of stuffed that, took away the pitch to Friedman, turned Johnson inside, and then the defenders came in.
Take another look here. It seems as though the Panthers are taking a play out of the Bridgewater State playbook here. You get the reverse pivot by the quarterback to fake one way, and now you have Andy Jackson in the position to make the pitch. I think it was a wise move to hold on to the ball. He paid a price, but just a risky spot to make a pitch when you're trying to eat up some clock.
Good job by Davis to take that pitch away, though, as well on defensive end. Allowed Garcia to get into it and get Jackson as he turned it up. Okay, 3rd down and 9. What's Jackson going to do? Going to look to pass? Panthers have not been afraid to do that. Plenty of time. And the reason he had plenty of time, because it was a draw. Joe Licata faked me out there. Nice fake by Jackson, but he went nowhere. Friedman took it on delayed screen, the delayed draw. And Panthers are going to have to turn it over.
Good call, but Licata just sniffed it out early enough. I think that's a nice call, using Friedman, try and take advantage of the pursuit and get him going in the opposite direction. Licata snuffs that play, however, and now Jackson will have to kick it back to Bridgewater State. We're inside.
Sorry, John. Caputo and Price are back. They go for the block. The body is down. The flag is up in the air. Caputo fumbles the ball, and he jumps on it. Great recovery, boy. That was a bouncing ball. He jumped on top of it.
Jim Koska is among the players who are back at the other end. He may be the one who got into Jackson. What I'm trying to see now is the officials sort out the confusion. Roughing the kicker is the call. Take another look at it. Bridgewater State averages 6 penalties a game, and this could be one of the more costly if it does go as we expect. Jackson with the 2-step approach on the punt, gets it in the air and gets it away cleanly under pressure. Hit after the play by a number of defenders. A little bit of a spin there. Koska among those who are in on the rush.
Nice assist to the guys in the truck. Jeff Hodgson was also in there. I think he avoided, however. And now what do we have? Tell me they're going to accept. They're going to decline the penalty. That is the first time I've ever seen that.
Bridgewater State will take over on
Oh, wouldn't have given him the first down. Inadvertent hit, only a 5-yard penalty. That one I've seen. But it was give him the ball back. And we're right on top of our game here, so not quite as costly. However, the fumble by Caputo makes it a little bit more costly. And that's a good call by the coaching staff. Como's got the ball, goes over the 35-yard line, knocked out of bounds. Clock still runs, so
Jeff Jerry in the pursuit made the play. Take another look here. Hyman getting more comfortable as the game moves on with the pitch to Como, who's looking wide right. Turns it upfield and makes the hit before going out of bounds. No Franco Heresy. Jeff Jerry pulls him down.
You know, we've talked, John, a lot about the Bear defense and their 19 yards a game that they give up on the ground, but the Plymouth State defense has really been a rock solid throughout the whole game as well.
And as we point out, they've only allowed 6 points in the 4th period all season long.
And there they go again. John Morley just steps right in there and shuts off Hyman, who reverse pivot. They were going to fake right and come back left. And Morley and Friedman were right there. Morley wrapped them up first.
Nice hustle and a lot of backup by the Plymouth defense. We talked about their stinginess on the scoreboard. Now it's time for them to get stingier in the yardage as well.
Third down and 12. Historically have gone to the pass. They like to look left in this situation. Right they usually put over there. This time he is on the right and tight. DeSisto is the wide left. And he's going back to pass. The whole motion is going left. Picked off by Hansen. He's got it over the 30. And he is knocked out of bounds, I believe, by Hyman. Panthers take over deep in Bear territory. Let's take a break.
Plymouth nestles in the middle of the Pemigewasset Valley, amid some of the most beautiful scenery in New Hampshire. There are hundreds of paths and trails to explore in fall, winter, and spring. But Plymouth also shares the valley with one of the most traveled roads in the Northeast, Route 93, the backbone of New England. Within 2 hours, you can be in Boston, or in Montreal within 3, with access to all the opportunities a city provides. It's a road with many stops. At one turn, you can hear an orchestra performance in the city. At the next, you can listen to the symphony of sounds in the woods of New Hampshire.
Good run. What's my time? 69.72. All right.
Down. Matt Friedman spun around by a whole host of guys. Jeff Hodgson in on the play of not an unfamiliar sight, and Panthers are going to lose about a half a yard, 2nd and 11 as they break the huddle. They're at the 27-yard line. Incidentally, that was P.J. Hansen's 2nd interception of the day, 3rd on the season. Made up for that fumbled punt return early here in the 4th quarter, and there is a timeout. Little mix-up. It was Matt Friedman from the tailback spot called it. Generally, you don't see something like that, but Friedman sensed that they were going to violate the second clock, and he called a timeout.
Second time today, actually, Friedman has done that, and I think we have to give him a lot of credit. With a young quarterback in the game, a freshman, Friedman is the senior member of the backfield. A couple of times he's shown his field awareness by signaling a timeout. 7:40 left. They've got the ball down in Bear territory. They just don't want to make any mistakes at this point.
Friedman, last we knew, had about 75 yards on the ground. He had an outside shot coming into the game. If he had a real big game going over 1,000, started the game at 8:08, and he's knocking on the door right now at 900. Here's a look at the replay on the Hansen interception, and they diagnosed the play. They have been going to the left quite a bit. Hansen is off there on the right-hand side. A lot of blockers out in front. And there goes Hyman, like a quarterback who makes the tackle. He really led the hit on him. Now Jackson in the flat to Boss, who's wide open, and he's going to take it in for a touchdown. Nice delay play by Boss coming out of the backfield. He shook everybody. They cleared out the deep side, and he caught it right around the line of scrimmage and took it in.
Boss is normally a short yardage guy for the Panthers. He's only carried the ball 28 times thus far this season. And this is his first touchdown of the year, and it's a big one in this tight defensive struggle against Bridgewater State.
And Boss shared the tailback spot with Friedman last year. John Brown came in. He wanted one guy running with the football, and Boss, unselfish, he's a captain, moved into the blocking back spot, but he showed last year in particular an ability to catch the ball.
His 2nd catch of the day. He's up to 8 on the season now. Showed good hands, and it was a real nice setup on the play. Had everybody looking to the left. Boss slipped out to the right. Jackson puts it right on the money. And the Panthers are on the scoreboard yet again.
Panthers going to go for 2 in this situation. 12-3, they've got the 9-point lead. 2 points to give them 11, and that means that would be 2 touchdowns that Bridgewater would need. And they line up everybody to the right. Boss to the right, Pavia to the right, Carlo, and they're going to pass. Jackson throws it right into the middle, and it is picked off by Big Dan Grimes, number 98, and he's free on the sideline. And he can take this in, and he is going to go all the way. Scott Bertier on the handoff, and he's going 100 yards with an intercepted extra point, and that is 2 points. 2 points for the Bears. We have a penalty flag down at about the 10-yard line.
George Kelch.
George Bernier in on the play. Scott Bernier, check that. In on the play, number 14. There's a little bit of confusion here in the play. No one really on the field conferring.
Celebration on the Bridgewater sideline here. We talked about Jackson as we take another look. He's got a little bit of room and he throws it into the pack. It comes off a shoulder pad and falls into his hands. But I believe there may have been a forward lateral on the play because they were down so tight. One defensive player was wrapped up, as we see here, and then suddenly emerging from the pack is number 14, Scott Bernier, who does take it down the sideline. Great pursuit by Plymouth, number 63. Brandon Horrigan tries to pull him down but doesn't have the wheels to do so. So he takes it just about 98 yards on the play, David, and we're still waiting for everything to be sorted out. Little clip there on the end of the play as well.
It appears that Bridgewater is not going to get the 2 points. It will be a forward lateral. Patriots wouldn't have a win yet if that play if that was the call in the pros. But presence of mind for certain on the part of Bridgewater.
A little more exciting than your typical NFL conversion, I would say.
That's true. I like that play. I like the fact that defense can score on that. If you're going to go for 2, give those guys a shot.
Put the ball in play, and they did.
And that incidentally keeps Bridgewater much closer in the game. That's a big play, even to stop it, because now at 12-3, a touchdown and an extra point. I mean, a touchdown and a field goal, and they're back in the game. The 11-point would have meant they'd have to score 2 touchdowns, and the way the Plymouth defense is playing, that's a pretty tall order. So, very big play on the part of the Bears to at least keep their hopes alive. 12-3, they trail.
And the clock may be as much of an enemy as is Plymouth State at this point for Bridgewater. They're trailing 12-3 and 7:34 remaining. They've got to move the ball, and they have to move it quickly.
Kyle Albers is in here to boot it away. He's going to be kicking into the wind. Como, the deep man. Price on one side. And the ball is squibbed away. Wright has the ball. He's going to try and reverse fields, and he runs into Colby Compton. There's that number again, but very good field position at the 35-yard line. Plymouth showing respect for John Como's speed. They decide to squib it up there, and they trade off fear of a touchdown or being run back or a long run back to give away some field position at the 35-yard line.
But Plymouth's defense has been equal to the challenge so far today. Maybe they feel that by giving up the extra 15 yards, they don't give up the big play. Probably one thing they have to be afraid of now is that big play. They're not doing bad by holding Bridgewater State to 2 and 3 yards at a clip. That may be the Plymouth strategy right now.
7.5 minutes left in the ball game. Plymouth leads it by 9. Everybody is wide to the right. The entire Bridgewater team is to the right, and they're going to pass in the flat, and it's knocked down by Jason Friedman, who got in a hurry. They were going to Paul Wright in the flat, and they had some room there. Take a look at it one more time. Watch out of the left-hand side of your screen. Coming in the bottom part of your screen, Jason Friedman just comes, and he's on top of Dan Hyman in a hurry. There he is, boom. You know the guy's in there in a hurry when you get hit in the stomach on the pass. Had got his jump and had stopped it there. And Freeman took one for the troops right there out of his left defensive end position. Everybody once again to the right. No longer in the veer. Khalil is in there. Como is the deep back. And Hyman looking to pass, and he throws it to Khalil, who just snuck out of the backfield. Derek Stone immediately is on top of him. There's that guy again, Colby Compton, with another tackle. 5-yard gain, though. We're going to have a 3rd and 5 situation for the Bears. Nice job by Hyman, John. He was being pursued and kind of dumped it to his 3rd or 4th receiver.
Showing a lot of poise. Again, we've mentioned that he's really the 3rd-string quarterback coming into the season for Bridgewater State. Yet he's out there looking like a seasoned veteran, drawing the defenders, clearing receivers so he can dump the ball, even though it was for a 6-yard gain, not the 10 that they needed.
Plymouth has 4 deep backs, 3 defensive backs and a linebacker about 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. Everything is looking left, and rush is on, and the sidearm Doug Flutie type pass to Como. He's banged by Stone and goes out just shy, I'm going to say just shy of midfield, but actually it's the 47-yard line. But that's a first down for the Bears, and a nice job by Hyman, who threw across his body.
A little bit of a slingshot pass a la Doug Flutie, as you indicated, Dave. able to find Como in there, and they do pick up the first down. Nice play to keep the drive alive with a 3rd and 5. They were really in a position where they might have been in 4-down territory for them. Instead, they've got the first down, and the drive rolls on.
It's Toto, number 88's chance to be in the ball game. He brought in the play in for DeSesto. He's on the left, but they're coming right. Como is trying to get around the outside. There's Andy Levine again. He's come up with a big second half here, John, and he just chops down Como in the backfield.
Great play by Andy Levine to string the play out and to shake the block before going one-on-one with Como. We talked about Como's speed. He's the sprinter. He's trying to get outside. We even got Hyman up there trying to help with the blocking, but Levine just shakes him off and pulls him down by the shoestrings. Good pursuit by the Manchester West High graduate. I point that out only because it's my alma mater.
Only took him 6 years to get through. Okay, we've got a 2nd and 12 situation. Everybody is wide to the left. Hyman looking to pass, puts it under his arm, has a lot of room on the right-hand side over the 50, and he's going to be run out of bounds by Levine and Colby Compton.
Hyman running away to the far side of the field, away from the yard markers. I wonder, David, if he'd been looking at those markers, if he might have been willing to take the hit and get some more yardage upfield. Watch it once again. Hyman starts rolling to his left and sees nothing there. We got great penetration by the Plymouth defense. Jason Ribeiro right there with a block. Now he turns and goes the other way. Again, looking upfield, no yard markers to use as a gauge. He trots it out of bounds about 3 or 4 yards short of the first down.
Good job, though, running out of the pocket. He's shown a good an ability to get out of the pocket, use his mobility. Short side of the field is where all the wideouts are, Wright and Toto. A lot of activity on the line. Here's Como over the 45, but he is going to come up. It's going to be close for the first down. John Clayton indicates just short.
Pardon me, David. Nice defensive play there by Plymouth. May actually have contributed to the extra gain there. He got a real nice spin there at the end of the play by Derek Stone. We'll wait and see where the official marks the ball. It looks like he's getting credit for the Stone push.
Dan Tappan, from where they've got it on the field, to me it looks like it's just short. Dan Tappan in on the play, where Dan gets credit for a tap-in. Who's a basketball player, be perfect for Chris Berman.
A long wait on the Bridgewater State sideline as they look on for this measurement. Officials will pull the chain tight.
And he has got about 6 inches. I think we're in territory. Certainly we're in territory. We're inside of 6 minutes remaining in the ball game. Bridgewater's got to go for it. So they're going to have 4th down at about 6 inches.
Bridgewater may be looking with regret at some of the yellow flags that have fallen on the field thus far today, David. Of course, they've had 2 big plays called back. There was Dunleavy's interception return that was negated by a penalty, one that would have given them their first score, and then the 2-point conversion they could have scored on was taken away by the penalty as well.
And Plymouth has 3 linebackers in the game. Colby's up on the line of scrimmage, 3 people deep. Only wide receiver is Wright. He's out to the left-hand side. And there's the fake by Hyman. He just runs it right into the hole, up the fake dive, takes it up over the 40-yard line, and really kind of froze everybody with that fake, picks up the first down.
You really have to respect the fake with DeVere. Take another look here. Hyman starts sliding immediately without much faking right here, right down the side of the line. Colby Compton has to respect the possible handoff, gives a little bit of ground, and it's enough for Hyman to slide through that opening. Slips right through past the dive of Jerry and is able to get the first down.
Kind of just slipped inside of the pursuit. I don't know if that was designed as much. It was his option to do what he could do.
Nice block by Chris Labadini up front for the Bears.
Ball on the 35-yard line. They go right to Como to start off with, and he takes it up. Nice gain, about 4 yards as he goes up over left tackle, left guard.
Clock continues to run, however, as they sort out the pile. We're inside of 5 minutes now.
They got to start putting the ball up to stop the clock.
Let's not forget the Bears need a couple of scores. Plymouth with a 12-9 lead. The Bears grinding it out on the ground, using up time, as well as grinding out yardage.
We're at the 37-yard line. Second down at about 7. Didn't get as much of a gain as I thought. Spot must have stopped the forward progress. Hyman is back to pass. He's got some time. Now he's looking to get out of the pocket, and he is tripped up from behind. Number 35, Jeff Jarry, did a nice job penetrating from the right-hand side. Linebacker kind of circled behind Hyman and tripped him up at the end.
Jarry well past the 40 tackle mark of the season now as he moves up in the standings for the Panthers as well. Another look. As you said, David, Bridgewater State has to start putting the ball up in the air, and I believe that was Hyman's intention when he fell back into the pocket. The pocket collapsed, however. He almost got out and had some room to run. Poor Jerry pulled him down with the shoestring stop again.
Got a 3rd and 6 situation. We're under 4 minutes to go. Plymouth leads it by 9. Bears trying to get in there and knock on the door. And Hyman is back once again. He gets out of trouble. At least Derek Stone came in, got away from him. And then Dan Tappan and Jason Friedman pulled him down after he slipped by Stone.
Another big play by the Plymouth defense, looking at a 3rd down passing situation for the Bears. Hyman looking to pass, and before he can even get into the pocket, he's under heavy pressure. And here comes the pursuit after he's slowed down originally by number 41, Derek Stone. Everybody else comes in on the pile to finish. 4th and about 12 or 13.
Clock is still ticking away. We're approaching 3 minutes to go in the ball game. We're going to go with a formation, strong side right. DeSisto and right to the right. Khalil steps into the slot. Como, the only guy back. And Hyman is in trouble once again. He lets it go to Khalil in the last second, and Khalil fights his way just shy of the 30. And I thought he was going to fall forward, John, and he got knocked back at the last second, and he's going to come up short.
The length of his body might have been enough for the 1st down. Instead, it will go the other way. The ball will come back to Plymouth, but let's watch this one again. Hyman rolling. That's when he's at his best, when he's moving, rolling to his right. He gets great pressure and great pursuit here from number 41, Derek Stone, but he's able to get the ball downfield. Khalil, good hands again. And here's where he had the chance to go upfield. Colby Compton with a wrestle grab, knocks him back, and Plymouth will take over on downs at the 35.
Compton makes the big defensive play. Talk about game being a game of inches. Second cliche of the day, but that truly is the case as Colby stopped his forward progress and prevented the 1st down. And they go to Friedman as the Panthers from Plymouth State are going to try and run out the clock. We're under 3 minutes to go. He took it up to the 35-yard line and picks up about 4 yards on the play. And that might have just iced it for the Panthers here in their attempt to go to 4-2. Right now, Bridgewater stands at 4-2.
Steve McCarthy with the stop for Bridgewater on that last play.
Second down and 6 yards to go. Friedman runs into a pile of people. McCarthy on the bottom of that pile. He has been there. It's not like the first time he's been there. Yeah, you see as we approach 2 minutes to go in the ball game. Panthers continue to shuffle guys in and out. Dalton goes out of the game with the wide receiver. Carlo comes in with the wide out. Gives the play to Andy Johnson.
Look for the Panthers to continue following this safe and cautious course. They're still back in their own end and certainly don't want to cough it up on a fumble. Nothing to get Bridgewater back in the game.
Got my presidents mixed up. Andy Jackson, not Andrew Johnson. We don't want him to get impeached. Done a pretty good job today. And there goes Friedman fighting his way through the crowd. Pretty tough to bring him down. He got spun around. Kind of looked like a square dance there with Lou Garcia. They do-si-doed about 2 or 3 times down by the sideline. Friedman trying to stay in bounds. Garcia trying to pull him out. And we have a timeout on the field, I believe. 1:26 to go in the game.
Another look here. We talk about Matt Friedman's ability to stay on his feet. He bounces off one tackle and does that spin move he's really patented today.
Swing your partner.
At this point, Friedman is less interested in moving downfield and more interested in staying in bounds to keep the clock rolling. Officials have indicated they did stop it. It may have been a timeout by Bridgewater as the Panthers convene on the far sideline for their timeout huddle. Plymouth State, as you see, holding a 12-3 lead.
Didn't mean to cut you off, John. I just had to get that line in there. Okay, the Panthers are going to kick it over. 4th and 3. What do you think the chances are of a fake here with 1:26 to go in the game? I don't understand why teams even put a guy back. 10 men on the line of scrimmage for the guys in red. They're going to try and block the kick. Why don't you just put 11 guys and just let the ball run free? They can't block 11 because there's one guy kicking. And here they go. They're coming after Jackson. He gets off a nice kick up in the air. Caputo has got it. He's coming right. And he's got a whole heck of a lot of guys in white. Nowhere to go. Beautiful coverage on the part of the Panthers. Number 43, John Pavia, in on the play, the tight end. Clock ticks away. Actually, clock stops at 1:16.
Caputo is on kamikaze duty here. As we indicated, the Bears had sent everyone on the block. He's out there all alone looking at the Plymouth State College team photo running in his direction. Tries to take it upfield and break to his right. No chance, however. Good coverage by the Panthers. bringing him down inside the 30.
You got to like a tight end who can tackle like that. John Pavia doesn't get too many shots to drill somebody. That time he did it. Bridgewater in a last gasp effort. We're closing in on a minute to go. 1st and 10. They're going to have to take it to the air. Dan Hyman throws it in the flat to Como, in and out. And geez, what a surprise. Number 97, Colby Compton, hit on the play. And he has really been all over the field, not just stopping the run on some of the blitz. He's done a nice job in pass coverage out in the flats.
Bridgewater into the hurry-up offense now. We'll go without the huddle.
Clock was stopped in the incomplete pass, so Hyman looking to pass. Once again going left, it's tipped. And there, almost, was the dream play for any offensive lineman. Jason Ribeiro is right there on the tip, almost going to pick it off and turn it up the other way. We've already seen a defensive score, although it was called back, a defensive score and an extra point.
Again, great penetration by the Plymouth defense on the block. Ball knocked up into the air where it's loose. Ribeiro almost able to come up with a catch. Rather a lame one-handed effort, I might add.
Should have dove, even though it would have been a 4-yard loss, and kept the clock going. Wonder why he didn't catch that.
Maybe he thought of that.
Presence of mind. Okay, 1:07 left in the game. 3rd down, 10 yards to go. Hyman once again back to pass, trying to get something going. And he is dragged down. And is that a penalty flag going in there? No, I don't think it was. Number 55, Adam Hawks. First time we've seen Adam in the ball game today. Was in secondary, the secondary tackle. Also, Chris Healy was in on that play on the blitz. And now it is 4th down and 23, and maybe the last play for the Bridgewater Bears in what's been a very tight defensive struggle. There's Healy again. Hyman sidearms it behind the receiver, Chris Langlois, and Panthers are going to take over on downs with 36 seconds to go. And that pretty much ices the ball game, John.
Really a desperation sequence for the Bears. They had to push the ball downfield. Plymouth State knew it. All those defensive linemen just set their ears back and make a run for the quarterback, everyone coming in blitz formation. And nothing that Hyman could do under that kind of pressure. They surrendered on 4 straight plays, and Plymouth will probably do nothing but run the clock out now as they take over on downs on the 20-yard line.
We will get a chance to see Plymouth State next week as they take on the Coast Guard Academy. And we've done 2 games here in New England Small College Football broadcast. Last week we saw a firefight, unbelievable scoring game. Today we see the opposite, a defensive struggle, kind of like the World Series in game 4 and 5, or 4 and 5.
A little bit of variety. Jackson steps out and just puts his knee to the ground. Clock continues to run.
.25 seconds to go in the game. And they're going to go in with the tight formation. 15 seconds to go. Last play of the game coming up. Plymouth State takes an important win. As we heard from halftime from Assistant Commissioner of the ECAC, John Garner, this game was one of the teams that really was looking possibly like they might get in the Northeast Championship. So big win for the Panthers as they move to 4-2 on the season in a very well-played, tightly fought battle.
Good work by both defenses on the field. We just had the 12-3. What's that? Let me check this out now. That's 15 points by my math. Low-scoring game that we had expected. A couple of breaks going either way would have made a difference. We talked about the Dunleavy interception return that was called back by a penalty. A few of those big plays, yellow flags, really spelled doom for Bridgewater State today.
And here is the traditional, what has become a traditional handshake, taken from the Stanley Cup tradition of the NHL hockey. I think it's a great thing in sports. I have to say this, how did the NHL, that fun-loving bunch of guys, ever come up with a sportsmanlike thing like this? But the Morrison Trophy, incidentally, John Harper in the red, the athletic director of Bridgewater State, and Steve Bamford on the right. And the Morrison Trophy, which is a trophy between these 2 teams. And
it's John Clayton Harper, I would like to point out. John's trying to determine if we're related somewhere back in the family line.
He was trying to make sure he wasn't related, I think is the way he said it before the ball game. But anyway, the trophy is being made to Plymouth State. Last year it went to Bridgewater, so they're trading it back and forth. Don Brown down there in the middle, and the guys holding it up.
Really, this game is also kind of a mirror image of the game a year ago, David. A year ago, Bridgewater State was able to come away with a really tough 14-6 win up at Plymouth. The Panthers have kind of returned serve here with a hard-fought 12-3 win at Swenson Field.
And, of course, we're going to get a chance to see the Bears again on November 7th. small college pack, and they take on arch rival Mass Maritime. And there's our next game. It'll be Sunday, October 31st, up at Plymouth State College when they take on the Coast Guard Academy. So with the final score here, Plymouth State 12, Bridgewater State 3. We'll be back to wrap things up in just a second.
The New Hampshire Philharmonic Orchestra will perform a special encore of their 35th season opener at City Hall Auditorium in Concord, Saturday, October 30th at 8. Highlights include world-class French conductor Patrick Bodie, Russian pianist Nikolai Lomov, and songs by the Paugus Ensemble, a Laconia women's choir. The concert is presented by the Capitol Center for the Arts as part of their ongoing fundraising efforts. For tickets, call 603-225-1111.
Every weekend, Sports Channel has the best college football from all across America. Be it national powers or local rivalries, the most exciting games are played on Sports Channel. Army takes on Air Force Saturday, November 6th at 2. This team hits hard.
Casper dials in on the hit button.
This team scores big. Catch the Hartford Whalers on Sports Channel. The Hartford Whalers and the New York Rangers face off Saturday at 7:30.
And we're here now with some of the victorious Plymouth State Panthers. A key to the game, in addition to the Carlo touchdown, of course, Bob Boss touchdown. We'll get to him in a moment. The defense was a key for the Panthers. Joining me here is Colby Compton, who had 14 tackles, 2 breakups, and 2 sacks. Colby, big game for the Panthers today?
Yeah, real big game, real big game. We came into Massachusetts today looking for a big win. This is a big thing for the NCAA. I mean, we want to win our conference, but we also want to see if we can get some extracurricular after the season. So big win for the whole team, offense and defense.
And you were everywhere, both breaking up passes with the sacks, with a little bit of coverage as well. Is this something that you're accustomed to doing here with the Panthers?
I just had a lot of help from my defensive linemen. I mean, they're taking a lot of the blocks for me, so I'm getting in there untouched on some plays and other plays. I'm just working, be a little quicker than the other guys. Not using my weight as an advantage, obviously, but.
Colby Compton with a couple of sacks that were a key for the Panthers. A couple of key interceptions also came from P.J. Hansen. Did you see something in the game, P.J., in the way they were setting up their pass attack that you were able to read off of?
Yeah, we prepared all week. We watched films and stuff. We kind of knew what they were going to try and do on the pass, and we had the right coverage in at the right time, and I just stepped up in front of the man he was intended to throw to. Coach does a good job with us D-backs getting us prepared raw, so it was more just following what we're taught. It wasn't really me making an extraordinary play or something.
Well, you had a third-string quarterback who was coming in. Were you able to take advantage maybe of his inexperience?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I don't know. I didn't even realize it was third string, so that was kind of, But, we had good coverage all day. We put a lot of pressure on them with the blitz package, and they weren't like Colby was getting in there a lot, and I came in a few times. We really mixed it up on them and gave them a hard time, I think, picking us all up. So it helps out the defense.
While you guys did the job with the defensive passing, I guess we have to turn to a new star receiver here for Plymouth State, Bob Bost. What's it like to be on the receiving end of a pass after grinding it out on the ground most of your career? It must be nice to go through the air.
Yeah, it was real good. The offensive line did a great job, and it was a great call upstairs, and Andy Jackson's put it right in my hands, and there we were, a touchdown.
Now we talk about Hyman coming in really as a third-string quarterback. Andy Jackson wasn't supposed to be playing. He's a freshman, really thrown into it. Does he have the kind of poise that you guys can respect in the huddle?
Yeah, he does, because we get around him as a team, and we're a team, and it showed. He played well today. He threw 2 touchdown passes, and I thought he played well.
On the pass to you, it seemed like everybody was moving off to the right, and there's Bob Boss slipping away to the left. Was that designed to get everybody going in one direction, away from you?
It's a design play, but I don't know if it's to go away from me, but yes, it was a design play. But it was a great call, and it was a great throw.
It seemed like the points are really hard to come by. You must have a lot of respect for the Bridgewater defense after the game a year ago when they only allowed 6 points.
Yeah, they played real well today. They came at us, they were slanting, blitzing, and did a lot of things. But I thought we did okay, and the scoreboard showed it, so we're on our way.
On your way. The question is, where will the Panthers be going this year? Last year, ECAC. This year, perhaps NCAA. What do you think, PJ?
I hope NCAA, but, we're just going to win our conference first. We're going to try and take one game at a time. And, we're at the top right now. It's in our hands. We lose, we're out. So we're just going to take it one game at a time and just try and beat everybody else on the schedule.
Okay, I know you hate to look away after a win like this, but you do have the Coast Guard Academy coming up next week. Colby, anything you've been thinking about looking down the line?
Well, that's a homecoming game, and I know that our fans will be behind us. Our coach always has a good game scheme, so I don't think we'll have any trouble at all.
That's about the end of the activity here at Swenson Field in Bridgewater, Massachusetts, where the Plymouth State College Panthers have posted a decisive 12-3 win over the Bears of Bridgewater State. We hope you'll join us next week for more small college football on Sports Channel of New England. For my partner Dave Long, I'm John Clayton. Have a good evening, everyone.